Wisconsin State Fair Park in West Allis, Wisconsin, just outside of Milwaukee. It's the Milwaukee Mile, site of race number 11 of the 2008 season. Eric Darnell brings the momentum to the Milwaukee Mile after a great finish. Ron Hornaday, he brings frustration after a disappointment in Michigan. Mike Skinner will start third, and they're all chasing the man who has 2 wins here, Johnny Benson, looking to make it 3 at the Milwaukee Mile. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Camping World RV Sales 200, presented on Speed by Toyota. Hello everyone, Rick Allen and Phil Parsons with you from the Milwaukee Mile. Now, the Milwaukee Mile is considered a super speedway, but it seems to drive more like a short track, Phil.
It really does, and this is way more of a short track than it is a super speedway. The fact it's called a super speedway is because it's a mile in length, but this racetrack races like a short track. You see the long straightaways there, but these guys have long sweeping, just as flat can be corners. It's so critical to get that truck turned in the center of the corner. That's what all these teams are working on in practice, getting that truck to rotate in the center of the corner so they can get a good straight run off that 2 and 4 to have that long down back straightaway.
Johnny Benson, we talked about going for 3 wins. He's also on the pole again tonight.
Talk about momentum. Johnny Benson has it here. Won the last 2 races, trying to become only the 4th driver ever to win 3 races in a row at the same racetrack. And he had such a great run last week at Michigan. He came, what, an inch and a half short of winning last week?
Unbelievable finish. This is them coming off of turn number 4. Eric Darnell on the outside, Johnny Benson on the inside.
Those 5 trucks right there are 1 through 5th. Brendan Gaughan, I told him this morning, I said, you were 0.2 of a second behind and you finished 5th. He said, unbelievable.
1.5 inches when they got to the start-finish line. The closest finishes ever in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series history. Colorado, now that was back before electronic timing, so kind of a guess is what they threw out there. This was the closest last week that they've ever had in electronic timing.
And that's a little bit deceiving because the transponder that measures that is at the back of the truck. Eric Darnell was behind just prior to the start-finish line.
Right.
And at the start-finish line, he was barely ahead. And then just past it, he was way ahead. So that probably was even closer than that.
With Johnny Benson's great finish, he is now our points leader in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So done that the first time ever in his career. Let's keep our pre-race ceremonies going. Let's go trackside for our invocation.
And remove your hats as the Marine Corps Recruiting Station Milwaukee Color Guard presents our nation's colors. And remain standing for our invocation by MRO Chaplain Lonnie Klaus. And to perform our national anthem, Rhodium Records recording artist Josh Pope.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful evening that you've given us here at the Milwaukee Mile to race. We acknowledge you. Father, we ask that you would be with all those victims and families that are involved with the flooding in the Midwest. We ask that you just touch their lives. Father, for this event tonight, we ask for your protection and blessing, and we'll give you the thanks for these things. In your Son's name, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang glare, the bombs bursting in air gave Star-Spangled Banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And the drive-by taking place on the front stretch, the home of not only the Brave, but Milwaukee Mile, home to Harley Davidson. And so they do the drive-by on the front stretch. Chrissy Wallace will make start number 2 of her career, looking to improve on the last time she was on the racetrack. We'll be back with more from Milwaukee.
There's a craftsman in all of us.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, now in pocket size. Live radio broadcasts, live team chatter, and real-time stats. Introducing NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile. Only from Sprint and only on the Now Network. Get a Sprint phone and download it free with any data plan. Then let the battle come to you.
For NASCAR fans, it's a tradition as big as Independence Day itself. A place where the spirit of summer and the power of NASCAR come together for one of the biggest nights in racing. And where the only thing bigger than the fireworks in the sky are the fireworks on the track.
Coming to the checkers! Oh, whoa!
Celebrate the tradition of the Coke Zero 400 powered by Coca-Cola at Daytona, Saturday, July 5th. To guarantee your seats, call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit racetickets.com.
Hi, welcome to Progressive.com. How can I help you?
Well, I haven't shopped for car insurance in a while.
And you're worried that you've been paying too much, right?
Yeah. So how can I know I'm getting a good deal?
We can compare your Progressive Direct rate with other top companies.
Wow. Seriously?
Yeah. Look at the deal we just got him.
That's a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, or a big tricked out name tag.
Making sure you get a great deal. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Hi, welcome to Progressive.com.
Honey, what's all this?
Insurance?
Progressive motorcycle insurance.
Yeah.
RV insurance?
Uh-huh.
Boat insurance. But we don't have any of those things.
Well, actually, I do. We do. We do.
Surprise! Let's bag these up.
Saving you money so you can buy more toys. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is presented on speed by Toyota. Moving forward. Brought to you in part by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source.
Welcome back. A little bit of overcast skies there. It's been a beautiful day here at the Milwaukee Mile. It's been a one-day show, a couple practices and qualifying. Take a look at the weather here in West Allis, Wisconsin. 77 degrees. Partly cloudy, I would call it.
Yeah, just perfect racing conditions for tonight's race.
Slight breeze. Shouldn't affect the handling of the vehicles whatsoever. Take a look at this 1 mile, extremely old racetrack.
Yeah, let's take a look at this Optima Batteries track description. You see 1 mile, 1903 was when this racetrack opened. You see 9-degree banking in the corners. That's almost off camber. To a driver, it seems like it's worse than flat. Long front straightaway, long back straightaway, over 1,200 feet. And the key to this racetrack is getting that truck turned in the center of the corner and keeping that forward bite up off the corner. That's the key here.
Take a look at our Royal Purple race analysis. 36 trucks will start this race. 200 miles, 200 laps on a 1 mile racetrack. Just over $500,000 is the purse. And then that pit window, 70 to 80 laps. Now, Phil, we actually saw green flag pit stops here a year ago.
We do. This race has run typically with a few amount of cautions. A couple times here we've had one caution. So a lot of the guys are thinking they could, you know, the first time they can't really stretch it because they had qualifying and all the pace laps they're going to have of fuel. So they may be more like the low 70s for the first one. But then after that, they can probably go up to 80.
Again, Johnny Benson starts on the pole. All of the winners of the 13 races here previously have come from the top 8 starting positions.
Yeah, that's an incredible statistic, but it shows how important it is to be up front here. Track position is hugely critical here at this racetrack.
All of the drivers are strapped into their vehicles, meaning that all we have to do is fire them up and get them on the racetrack. So let's get tonight's command. We go back trackside.
And to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, Grand Marshal of tonight's Camping World RV Sales 200, Camping World Senior VP, President, Business Development and Training, Randy Ray and his son Alec.
Chrissy and gentlemen, start your engines.
A great father-son duo there giving the command. Johnny Benson giving the fist bump there, getting ready and trying to keep that momentum going that he's had now that he has jumped into the points lead in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Great crowd on hand. We talked about perfect conditions. Well, it's a great night for the fans to be here to enjoy this race. We'll be back with the start right after this.
Move it out. Let's go.
Roger, night down for me, please.
All set here.
Being fast from 0 to 60 is good. Truckers say being fast from 40 to 70, even better.
Welcome back. It's the Camping World RV Sales 200 presented on Speed by Toyota. The trucks are rolling on the racetrack now as we take a closer look at the starting grid. It's going to roll across the bottom. Johnny Benson with his 4th career pole. He will start in the number 1 spot, and then it's Rick Crawford who will start on the outside of row number 1. So some pretty favorable spots for those two to start from on this race. We are again going to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers as we're under the lights here at the Milwaukee Mile. We'll start off with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, it's always fun when we have a driver making their first start. On that list tonight, Paul Poulter. He comes from over the big pond. That's right, he is from Brookham, Surrey, United Kingdom. He has some experience running trucks, but with much less horsepower. Paul is in the business of construction, but he's got a lot of work cut out for him tonight because he will start last on the field here. They broke a pulley on the front of the engine, and the team had to make an engine change in Curtis Key's number 40. He'll start 36 tonight here at Milwaukee. Adam?
And Landon Castle rolls 23rd tonight, making his 5th start of the year in the GoDaddy.com Chevrolet, the 46 truck here this evening. And he's doing double duty this weekend. He will also drive the number 5 Nationwide Series car here tomorrow night at Milwaukee. He's had a successful start to 2008, 5 truck starts, 1 top 10 finish. And don't be surprised if you see Willie Allen make his return to the Truck Series next weekend, driving this truck at Memphis. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at that Pilot Travel Center's Toyota right there. That is Michael Annette. He started off this season with a huge win at Daytona in the ARCA Remax Series. He's going to run this truck for Bill Davis Racing in the next 5 races, and then a couple more races after that. He will share this ride with Scott Speed. Same truck Scott Speed won Dover with. Michael Annette will start in the 14th position in his first ever Craftsman Truck Series start. Rick?
I would like to shine a spotlight on that girl right there. Chrissy Wallace will start this race in the 29th position. It's only her 2nd start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Her first start was at Martinsville, where she had a very impressive finish. She finished 18th on the lead lap. She'll try to improve on that this weekend. She has a big weekend for the whole family, though. Not only is Mike Wallace going to be up top and he'll be talking to her, but also her uncle, Kenny Wallace, will be making his 400th career start in the Nationwide Series tomorrow. So a very big weekend for the entire Wallace family. We will ride along with 3 different drivers, all of them driving Toyotas. One of them will be the Team ASE Toyota Tundra, number 59 of Ted Musgrave. He carries our camera.
We're also going to have a look from the pole with a 23 Toyota Certified Used Vehicles Toyota driven by Johnny Benson. We know Johnny's trying to win for the 3rd consecutive time here at Milwaukee.
Also will ride along with Mike Skinner in the number 5. He starts third, so he will have a very good view of Johnny Benson, who starts on the pole. Again, the top winners in this race have always come from the top 8. Let's go back down trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, you talk about that. It's all about track position here at Milwaukee. There's no question about it. The front 4 rows where all the winners have come from. But we got to take a look at some of the drivers tonight here at Milwaukee who are starting further back. A bunch of guys with a lot of experience on this track and quite a few wins. How about Ted Musgrave? Musgrave rolling off from the 20th position tonight. Can he work his way to the front? Or Mike Bliss, Terry Cook, or Dennis Setzer? And how about Todd Bodine, a driver you would think would be running good tonight, but he didn't qualify very well at Milwaukee. Adam?
Ray, the success of Kyle Busch has been well documented in the Truck Series here in 2008. 8 starts in the series, 4 times he's finished in the top 2 positions, including a couple of victories. But Mike Bliss is in the 51 truck tonight. The 1998 winner here has finished 8th or better in his last 5 races, and he's led a bunch of laps as well, 125 in those last 5 events. Tough break for him, though. He qualified 19th, and he's one of those guys that will have to work his way through the field to get a second win on the Milwaukee Mile here this evening.
You know, Rick, both of Adam and Ray are talking about how many good trucks are starting outside that top 8. We had Todd Bodine right in front of Mike Bliss, and Todd Bodine had one of the best trucks in practice.
We'll find out if starting position is key again tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. Johnny Benson, Rick Crawford bring the field to the green flag. We're underway with race 11 of the 2008 season.
Watch Rick Crawford fight back on the outside, trying to wrestle that lead from Johnny Benson.
Trying to get 5 bonus points. Rick Crawford has led the points this season. Johnny Benson, for the first time in his career, is now out in front of the points. And it looks as though Rick Crawford is going to beat Johnny Benson to the line, and he will lead lap number 1. 5 bonus points for Rick Crawford.
Great start for Rick Crawford. Mike Skinner, that teammate to Johnny Benson, right there behind Johnny. Took a peek to the inside right there. We saw Johnny slide up in the center of the corner to dime in that corner. That is the preferred way around this racetrack, especially once you get a few laps on your tires.
Right now they're feeling pretty good. The only laps they have on these tires are the ones that they did in qualifying. We ride along and look back behind Mike Skinner at that 6 of Colin Brown.
See teammates right there side by side. The 2 of Jack Sprague on the inside, the 33 of Hornaday on the outside. Both of those guys winners here at Milwaukee.
Jack Sprague a week ago started off with Mike Skinner on his side, and those 2 got into each other on lap number 1, and so it was a difficult start for Jack Sprague a week ago.
See Brendan Gaughan, that 10 truck right behind him. Brendan was very, very happy with his truck. Battle heating up a little bit for the lead right here. There's Johnny Benson. He wants to get that lead from Rick Crawford.
2 strong trucks in practice, and they're showing it once again now on the racetrack as they're battling for the lead. Adam Alexander.
And Rick Crawford just got the word from his crew chief, Kevin Cowboy Starlin. Run your race. Don't let them force you into anything. And one thing we saw earlier today in the practice, the tires would fall off a bit. And so it's key to make sure you take care of your equipment on the long run here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Here comes Johnny Benson looking to the inside of Rick Crawford. Battle for the lead at the start-finish line.
You know, people say it's very, very difficult to pass here at this racetrack. Johnny Benson, textbook move, got under him, beat him off the corner, raced him down the straightaway, and beat him into turn number 1. Great pass by Johnny Benson.
Down the backstretch, Johnny Benson putting 2 truck links, 3 truck links now between Rick Crawford and himself. And now it's Mike Skinner that gets right back behind him. Look at Mark Mitchell moving up in that number 15, right on the inside of the 99 of Eric Darnell.
Hey, Eric Darnell coming off that huge win last week at Michigan. Great truck in practice as well. You see Terry Cook right there in the Weiler.com Toyota, right behind Mark Mitchell and his Toyota.
The preferred line right down by the white line through the turns. And that darker asphalt.
Eric's already made his way up into the top 10. He started back in the 13th position, so he's got a couple spots already.
Terry Cook's right behind Mark Mitchell in number 15. Todd Bodine moves to the inside of the 8 of Chad McCumbee, trying to take the position away from Chad. That's already up for the 15th spot.
There's a 51 of Mike Bliss right behind him. I talked to Mike a little bit right before qualifying, actually right after qualifying. He said they had really struggled in practice. He and Richie Waters put their heads together, made a lot of change to that truck. And he said nothing we did ever helped that truck at all. So hopefully he's got a little better situation here for the race. They thought they would be better for the race.
Looks as though Todd Bodine was having a little bit of a hard time staying on that white line. Is there a problem with that?
Michael Annett
right in front of him. Michael Annett spins. And the caution will come out, the first caution of the night. No contact as Michael Annett got turned around, maybe had some help.
I think it looked like he was all by himself. He may have run across the rumble strips down there in the inside of the racetrack. It looked like Michael was by himself. Did a nice job of keeping that truck out of the outside wall.
Early on in this race, only lap 8 of 200 scheduled, and Michael Annett brings out our first caution of the night. So under the lights, the Milwaukee Mile, it was Johnny Benson who started on the pole, but Rick Crawford won the race to the start-finish line for lap number 1. And then a little bit sideways for Michael Annett brings out the caution. This July on Speed, catch the network premiere of Wrecked, Life in the Crash Lane. Ride with Chicago's toughest family of towers and find out why cleaning up the mess isn't for the faint of heart. Wrecked, new series premiere July 17th exclusively on Speed. Fans having fun in the infield here at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. We're under our first caution of the night. Michael Annett had to catch that truck. Let's take another look.
You see him right down on the inside of the racetrack. He actually jumped in the throttle and slid out to the outside, made a little bit of contact with John West Townley in that 09 truck, but he basically tried to stay off of him. And when he did, when he snatched that wheel to the left, that turned him around. There's onboard Ted Musgrave's Team ASC Toyota right there. Good view of that. He and Chad McCumbee both going by on the inside to avoid that. Talked to Jim Harris, the owner of this truck right here, Ted Musgrave's truck, before the race. Had a lot of Team ASC people here in the audience, so hoping to have a great run for the ASC folks.
Ted Musgrave looking to find victory lane once again. He's already been here twice into victory lane. And another guy who wants to find victory lane is at 30 of Todd Bodine. What's happening with him, Ray?
Well, Rick, that spin from Michael Annett happened right in front of Todd. He was able to pin it down to the line and get by with no damage. But Todd has been saying on the radio that he feels like he has too much rear brake dialed into the truck, but he doesn't want to change it just yet. He said he's not happy with the way his Lumber Liquidators Toyota is rolling through the corners, but he feels like after the fuel burns off, it'll get much better. And his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., has told him, have some patience. It's early in the race. Adam?
We talked about Mike Bliss. He's moved from 19th to 15th in less than 10 laps under green. He said not bad, better than it's been all day. We'll see if he can continue his progress as we get set to go back green.
You want to follow up a little bit on what Ray was talking about with Todd Bodine. As these trucks burn off fuel, they typically get tighter, and more rear brake will help that situation. That's why Todd does not want to change it. He's expecting this racetrack to get tighter as they go.
It's awful tight up front as we come back to the green flag. Johnny Benson in front of Crawford, Skinner, Colin Brown, and Ron Hornaday.
Look at Skinner jump to the inside of Rick Crawford. Not quite able to do it. Look at Colin Brown on the outside. First time here at Milwaukee.
Trying to make the move on veteran Mike Skinner. They race out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch.
Great move by Colin Brown. You see Rick Crawford peek to the inside for just a second. Good side-by-side battle here. Skinner on the inside. Colin Brown on the outside.
Who will take the 3rd position when they cross the start-finish line? Colin Brown takes it away from Mike Skinner.
Nice job. I was talking to his crew chief Mike Beam earlier today. He said Colin came here last week and tested a Sprint Cup car, and he said it took him a while to make the adjustment because you drive those Sprint Cup cars differently than you drive these trucks. He said Colin really wasn't driving as hard in the corner as you need to with these trucks, but he's got to figure it out now.
It obviously looks like he's figured something out as he's now chasing down that number 14 of Rick Crawford for the 2nd spot. It's Johnny Benson out front. Crawford runs 2nd. Colin Brown's moved up to 3rd. Skinner drops back to 4th. And then rounding out the top 5 is Ron Hornaday.
I want to keep an eye on that 33 of Ron Hornaday. He was so good in practice. A lot of talk in the garage area was that 33 truck, as well as his teammate, the 2 of Jack Sprague, had 2 of the very best trucks. But you can never count out Johnny Benson here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, these 2 right now running nose to tail, the 33 and the 2. Just behind them, somewhat silently running up there in the top 7, Brendan Gaughan. So he's running strong. He's got a pretty good look at the 2 of Jack Sprague, and again just in front of him that 33 of Ron Hornaday. Right.
I know this is going to be a big surprise to you guys, but Ron Hornaday is tight in the middle. We're going to hear that from just about every driver tonight here at Milwaukee, and that's been what we've heard on the radio all the way across. But Hornaday said on a scale of 1 to 10, he's about a 7 tight. So Rick Wren has a good bit of work to do on this Camping World Chevrolet to try to get him to roll through the corner. And as you said, Phil, that's the most important part of having a shot at winning at Milwaukee, rolling that corner. Hornaday way too tight in the middle.
How about Matt Crafton making the move up to 8th?
7th, actually. He got by that 10 of Brendan Gaughan to take over the 7th position. You know, Ray was talking about everyone being tight in the center of the corner. I never heard one person today and during practice talking about being too loose in the center of the corner. Not one.
Not a one. Matt Crafton moving toward the front now. Crafton finding victory lane for the first time in his career earlier this season at Lowe's Motor Speedway. What a big victory that was for him after over 170 starts.
Johnny Benson right now still running some very, very quick lap times. He's within a couple tenths of a second of the fastest lap he has turned this entire race. Mike Bliss actually ran his fastest lap the last time by. He moved up to the 13th position as we watch Mike Skinner. They're a good battle right there. Eric Darnell moves to the inside. You can see his brake rotors already glowing red hot here. I was talking to Todd Bodine. He said we're using a lot of brake as you see Eric Darnell try to take over that 8th position from Brendan Gaughan.
Gaughan not giving up the spot as he stays on the outside of that 99. Northern Tool and Equipment Ford F-150. Two Fords running side by side. The Max Force International powered Ford F-150 of Brendan Gaughan battling back on the outside.
At the 13 Bobcat Chevrolet of Shelby Howard right behind this duo, trying to figure out which one to follow.
They stay side by side.
That's what you love, a racetrack that you can run side by side. Obviously, this racetrack does not have progressive banking, but Brendan Gaughan able to hang in there tough on the outside, gets a good bite off the corner, and now Eric Darnell is going to be able to take over that spot.
Clears him, goes out to the wall, keeps his momentum up, and puts 2 truck lengths between him.
It continues to be a battle for the 8th position.
Mark Mitchell just in front of Todd Bodine.
That's the 11th place right there. Mark Mitchell. There's Todd Bodine in 12th. See Mike Bliss already up to 13th. And then Mikasuki Toyota.
The battle for 11th continuing. Todd Bodine all over the back bumper of rookie Mark Mitchell in the number 15 Hyprene Ergon Toyota Tundra. Check it out, Paul Poulter there in the 40 dropping back. Again, he started at the back of the field after an engine change. We see Mike Lynette trying to battle back after that spin early on in lap number 8.
That's Kevin Wood right there in the 21 Air Force Ford. Remember, Kevin is John's first cousin. Len Wood, one of the famed Wood brothers' son. Kevin making his 2nd start of the season and 3rd overall in the Truck Series.
On the side-by-side racing as they go through 1 and 2 here at the Milwaukee Mile. Johnny Benson with a good lead now over Rick Crawford. Colin Brown holding on to 3rd. Skinner is 4th, and Ron Hornaday still holding on to that 5th spot at the Milwaukee Mile.
Truckers don't
choose UTI. See what it can mean to you at uti.edu.
Sunday, NASCAR race day in Bates and Finion. Only one pre-race show can handle all the twists and turns. JR, Jimmy, Kenny, and Wendy get you up to speed on everything NASCAR. Don't miss NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot live Sunday 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
That's a great shot right there. You see how hard these guys have to turn at the end of the straightaway to make it towards the inside of the racetrack for the corner.
Johnny Benson starting on the pole. Wasn't able to get out in front on that first lap. Rick Crawford led the first lap, but Johnny Benson's battled back. Adam Alexander.
And in those 2 wins the last 2 years, Rick, Johnny Benson has led 143 laps. So being out front here tonight, a place he's very familiar with. He's not said much on the radio, but one thing he did mention, truck is a little free and going more toward the loose side. He said he is in cruise mode right now. That's not good because he's turning laps faster than everyone in the field behind him. Ray?
Adam, this is just a 2nd start for young Chrissy Wallace, driving for Germain Racing. She had a very good run at Martinsville, but tonight it may be a very, very long night at Milwaukee. Chrissy has just said on the radio that her brake pedal is all the way to the floor and that she cannot get into the corner very fast, and you know what that means. People behind her are going to get impatient. So we'll keep our eye on that 03 truck. Chrissy Wallace, possibly with no brakes.
Well, the one good thing that obviously she's got going for her is her father's up on top of the spotter stand, and he's giving advice. So if he sees a truck that's going to get a little close, he'll let her know that they need to move out of the way. Take a look on the right side.
Yeah, right of your screen here. This is Jack Sprague battling with that 33 of Ron Hornaday. That was a battle for the 5th position. Jack's going to take it over. Ron Hornaday's going to relent right there going in the corner. He saw Jack making the move, and now Jack has opened up a bit of a gap, about a second-half gap over Ron Hornaday for that 5th spot.
CamouflageRVs.com, number 2, Chevy Silverado, one of the 2 trucks out of the Kevin Harvick Incorporated race shop.
Jack's just about to run down that 5 truck of Mike Skinner. Mike's got 4th. There's Colin Brown right there, the Conway Ford. He's running 3rd right now. There's Jack's record here. 9 top 10s in 11 tries here. What an incredible record for Jack Sprague.
That's not so bad.
Not too bad.
Colin Brown and that Conway Freight going by.
See, Matt Crafton now has chased down Ron Hornaday. That will begin to be a battle here shortly for the 6th spot.
Crafton continues to move up ever so slowly. He started in the 10th position all the way up to 7th, and trying to run down that RVs.com Camping World RV Sales 33. Ray, what are they talking about in that team?
Hornaday just came on the radio and said that he is so terrible loose on the entry to the corner that he's just chattering the tires all the way through the center and off. So that could be a big problem. You know, Phil, we said tighten the center is all you're ever going to hear. Well, guess what? Hornaday's loose in.
Yeah, a lot of guys, Ray, have complained about being loose in, but then once they get in, and because you're loose in, you have to drive in the corner a little straighter, and that really magnifies a tight in the center of the problem. So a lot of the guys are fighting loose in, but then they have to drive the truck in so straight they get to the center of the corner. They have to physically turn more than some of the other guys, and that makes them tight through the center of the corner. So that just compounds that situation.
Right now, Ron Hornaday is got even more to worry about with that 88, closing the gap now as he's all over the back bumper. Matt Crafton trying to take 6th away from Ron Hornaday.
I saw a puff of smoke out of Ron Hornaday's truck when he entered the corner there. I'm not sure what it was. It appears to have stopped as it goes down the straightaway. Let's see if we see it. That's just the exhaust out the right side of the truck right there. But I definitely saw a little bit of a puff of something when he entered turn number 1 this last time.
Crafton able to run right on that white line. Ray Dunlap.
It's a brand new chassis for Matt Crafton tonight, one they have not raced at all. And Crafton's so very, very good out at Phoenix. And the plan for this team is to learn more about this truck. I'm sure they'll run it at Loudon, New Hampshire, but they're hoping to take it to Phoenix because that's a racetrack where they believe Matt Crafton can get another victory this year. Double A.
One of the things we talked about in the practice session earlier today as you watch Matt Crafton getting aggressive on Ron Hornaday is how difficult a racetrack this is here at Milwaukee for a youngster. Left of your screen, you see the 46 of Landon Castle making his debut here at Milwaukee this weekend. He started 23rd, but is up to 14th. He said they did some things after practice to help it in qualifying. It didn't work. Well, he's made the ground up on track and looking to make his way into the top 12. Terry Cook just in front of him for a position on the racetrack.
Nice run so far for that 18-year-old driver there. Will do double duty as we heard earlier, and will run tomorrow night for JR Motorsports in the nationwide race. You see Matt Crafton continuing to battle with the 33 of Hornaday.
Again, this is for the 6th spot. Ron Hornaday holding it. Matt Crafton trying to take it away. They go door to door, side by side. Hornaday able to get back out in front. Now the 74 of Nicholas Tucker comes into play.
And Nick Tucker stays out of the way. There's a 15 of Mark Mitchell, the 60th Terry Cook. That's a battle for the 12th position right there. Terry Cook, a former winner here back in 2002. Terry looks to the inside, going to get a nose up beside Mark Mitchell.
Good run coming down the front stretch. See if he's able to keep it in front as they go through 1 and 2. Again, 9 former winners in this race of the 13 races that have been run.
Terry's only had 2 finishes this season outside the top 16. Had a 30th at the season opener in Daytona and finished 19th back at Kansas. Otherwise, all top 16 finishes.
Johnny Benson 1.6 seconds in front of Rick Crawford. Double A.
He's been very consistent tonight, but one thing he did say on the radio a moment ago is the truck continues to get free as this long run continues, and his concern is what an effect it will have on the right front tire. So we'll continue to watch Johnny Benson. He said moments ago he was in cruise mode, but he wants to make sure and take care of his race truck, and I guess right now with the margin of lead he has, he can afford to do that, but we'll continue to watch his progress as we're nearly halfway through this first fuel run of the night.
Johnny Benson able to get by the 0-3 of Chrissy Wallace, so puts her one lap down. That means there are 26 trucks on the lead lap. Rick Crawford running second, also trying to negotiate through the slow lap traffic.
See Kevin Wood right there in the 21 truck, giving Rick plenty of room. Great looking truck there. That Power Stroke diesel by International Ford for Rick Crawford. Heavy traffic in front of our leader as Johnny Benson tries to get by the 08 truck of Jason White.
Rick Crawford, Johnny Benson in the top 5 in the points. Crawford 61 points back from Benson, trying to eliminate that difference.
There's a craftsman in all of us.
She's all yours. /foundation to learn how.
Welcome back. Johnny Benson still in front of the field. 1.5 seconds the difference last time they went by the start finish line between he and Rick Crawford, who runs second, Colin Brown third, Mike Skinner fourth, Jack Sprague has moved up to fifth. Then it's Matt Crafton, Ron Hornaday Jr., Eric Darnell, Shelby Howard, and Todd Bodine, your top 10.
See, Johnny's got a couple trucks here racing for position. That's the 4 of Stacy Compton, the 09 of John West Townley. They're racing for position and also trying to race to stay on the lead lap. They definitely want to stay in front of Johnny if they can. If the caution flag were to come out, they would be able to come all the way around the racetrack. So important for them right now. Ooh, contact right there.
Stacy Compton into the back of that 09 of John West Townley, and that will allow Johnny Benson probably a little bit of an increased heart rate there for Johnny Benson as he saw that contact just in front of him, leading this race by a big margin.
That's Stacy really wanting to stay out in front of Johnny Benson.
Yeah, Stacy's fighting right now to stay on the lead lap. Again, we're riding along with Johnny Benson in his certified Toyota used vehicles, number 23.
This racing right here battling, that's allowed that 14 of Rick Crawford to close right up behind that 09 of John West Townley. See Stacy Compton desperate to stay on the lead lap. Johnny's going to move to the inside here. There's Rick Crawford right there. That's our second place truck.
So the gap has closed now as Johnny Benson's trying to fight with the slower lap traffic, and there was the contact just in front of Johnny Benson on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, Stacy Compton slid up the hill a little bit and made some contact with that 09 Ford. And
right along with Johnny and what he saw, again on the right side, live on the left.
That was a nice save by John West Townley right there, because that's when you're most vulnerable, is entering the corner, and that's when he made the contact right there.
Hangs on to it. You see him turning right in that truck. You don't ever want to see much of that when you're racing around an oval. So Johnny Benson has led 46 of our 49 laps. It was Rick Crawford that was out in front. We got some side-by-side racing here. Mike Bliss on the outside, Dennis Setzer on the inside. Double A, what's going on with that 51?
Well, he started out good from 19th to 13th, and he appeared on his way to another top 10 run here at Milwaukee. But about 10 laps ago, Bliss came on the radio and said he felt like there might be an issue with the powered steering, or he may have a tire going down because the truck got really snappy. Now, if you see this, Bliss started 19th and is now 16th. That's positive progress, but unfortunately, the truck not working like Bliss would like. We'll continue to follow the story, but a tough situation for this 51 bunch in the early going.
Finishing up on lap 51 on lap 52 as the field continues around the Milwaukee Mile. 1/4 of the race is complete as we ride along with Ted Musgrave and that Team ASE onboard. Look back at David Starr in the number 11 Toyota Tundra.
That's a battle for the 17th position. Ted Musgrave, two-time winner here at the Milwaukee Mile, along with Johnny Benson. Look at David Starr is going to make the move on the bottom and will pass Ted Musgrave to take over that 17th spot.
Drives right by him. Adam Alexander, what's going on with Ted?
Tight, the word for Ted Musgrave, and that's what this team fought during those practice sessions earlier today. Surprising that Ted is not good here. Phil mentioned the fact that he's won here twice, and his record of consistency very amazing at Milwaukee, but not meant to be to this point here tonight. And I've already talked to him about changes they will make on that first pit stop. They will be very busy when they come down pit road the first time.
A long green flag run, but it's not new for the Milwaukee Mile. Last year, first caution came out on lap 3, and then it was 63 laps of green flag racing before we saw a caution again. So we have seen long green flag runs at the Milwaukee Mile. Ray Dunlap.
Well, and that's exactly the way David Starr's truck is set up. This is their standard short track truck. They ran it at Martinsville and at Mansfield, and he's got it set up for the long run. He said it's getting better and better as the fuel burns off. So these guys, Jamie Jones and David Starr, believing that the second half of this race will go just as we have so far with long green flags.
What a move David Starr has made too, is he's now being scored 17th.
Yeah, he restarted this race in the 19th position after that first caution flag.
The battle for 4th. Mike Skinner just in front of that 2 of Jack Sprague. Two veterans racing it out on the racetrack. Jack Sprague, a 3-time series champion. Mike Skinner, our inaugural champion in the Truck Series.
Remember, these guys have had burned off the fuel from qualifying plus the pace lap, so they will not be able to go probably much past around 70, maybe on the outside 75 laps on this first run. You certainly don't want to run out of fuel on the racetrack, and we're already 55 laps into this race, so we're probably 15 laps away from green flag pit stops if the caution flag doesn't come out.
We've seen some great side-by-side racing. Johnny Benson raced his way back up to the front after he got by Rick Crawford, and they've battled all around the racetrack. We'll be back. Green flag pit stops coming up.
Want to drive a car on speed? Be there.
June 28th, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series thunders into Memphis. The toughest refuse to surrender. It's time to shake, rattle, and roll with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on speed. Live coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern. NASCAR on speed. Be there. And remember last year, what an amazing story that was with young Brad Keselowski.
It really was. Ted Musgrave, who normally drove that number 9 truck for Germain Racing last year, was suspended for an on-track altercation from before that. And they jumped and put Brad Keselowski in that truck, and he really had a career night. Was leading the race late in the going, had a little problem with Travis Quapple getting to the back of him, turning him around, but I tell you, it didn't turn out too bad.
I remember during that race, Phil, you said this is the most important race of Brad Keselowski's life. And look what has happened now. Currently second in the nationwide points driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Why don't you ask him if that was the most important race?
I'm sorry. We've got Brad Keselowski up here in the booth. Was that a life-changing race for you?
Certainly. What a great opportunity the Durains gave me. The Durain family, kind of a clutch opportunity, and I'd like to think we made the most of it and turned it into an even better break to drive for the U.S. Navy for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and now having a great year in that Chevrolet.
Congratulations on that win a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, thank you. That was another awesome night too. Nashville, one of the best races you can win, probably the coolest trophy in all of racing. So glad to have one of them guitars.
And Johnny Benson right there putting a lap on Ted Musgrave. We're talking about that. That's a Team ASE on board. But I'll tell you, that Nationwide Series and that Navy car, you have been good all year long. Week in, week out, up battling in the top 5.
Yeah, we've really just had strong cars. I've got Tony Eury Sr. as my crew chief, and been working very hard to get us up there and to be fighting for the championship. And got a great points race going on over there, much like in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And here tonight, watching the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race in Milwaukee, see what we can learn and maybe apply it to tomorrow and see if we can't have another win.
Stick with us here. Obviously, we're going to see some great racing as we see Matt Crafton now looking to the inside of Mike Skinner, trying to take that 5th spot away from Skinner, and Crafton's going to be able to move by him. I would say we're probably within 5 to 10 laps of green flag pit stops.
Yeah,
Phil.
we've got to be getting close. You see Matt Crafton continuing to battle with the 5 of Mike Skinner. Jack Sprague was able to take over that 4th spot just a lap or so ago, as you see Matt Crafton go ahead and get by Mike Skinner. So we're getting very, very close to green flag pit stops. You know, we've mentioned we have a number of the previous winners from here at Milwaukee in this race. Terry Cook was one of those previous winners, and he won in your family's truck, and that was a big, big night, wasn't it?
Yeah, Milwaukee's a special place to me. I've never missed a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race here. I've been here every year and enjoy coming here. Great place. As you can see, green flag pit stops are starting. And what an awesome racetrack, awesome atmosphere in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Right now we see Johnny Benson trying to get by Brian Scott in that number 16. Amazingly enough, a 2-time winner, Ted Musgrave, is now down a lap. Johnny Benson was able to get by him. Michael Annett down a lap. Brian Scott down a lap. So only 18 on the lead lap, and we're expecting green flag pit stops. We've seen TJ Bell already on pit road, and we would expect to see more coming down pit road very shortly.
So just for a moment, there's the 8 truck of Chad McCummey right in front of our leader, Johnny Benson. Remember, Chad right now in the top 10 in points, looking for a great run here. Admittedly, they're struggling a little bit on the short track and flat track program, hoping to get it put together here, but looks like he's about to go a lap down to Johnny Benson.
Would this be a good move to get onto pit road right now as he's going a lap down?
Well, you want to wait and try to be the lucky dog until Johnny puts another truck a lap down. Then you want to be in position there to get that lucky dog, but he's got the 71 of Donnie Leah right in front of him. I think Donnie has already made a pit stop. Donnie's being shown that will be 2 laps down if Johnny goes by him. So he's got all that distance in front of Donnie Leah for Chad McCummey to stay on the racetrack and try to stay behind that 23. You see him get real loose coming off 4.
And you know, Phil, this is one of the toughest tracks on the circuit to pit green flag. A very tough pit road entry, so you want to make sure you don't pit until you absolutely have to. You lose a lot of time on pit road here.
Awfully easy to speed, especially entering pit road.
It's very easy to speed. Very tough track for sure.
This is one of those racetracks where you turn left and then you have to turn right again when you get onto pit road.
It's like a dog leg actually coming in off the pit road, and you want to obviously carry as much speed as you can. When you come off turn 4, boy, that pit entrance comes up quick, doesn't it?
Very quickly, and the speed line is almost immediately on corner entry to pit road.
Eric Darnell right now being shown in the 8th position. Ron Hornaday right there with that Camping World Chevrolet running 7th.
You know, I've been watching Eric Darnell's lap times. He's been running very well. I've been watching him. He's been running some lap times equivalent to Johnny Benson there.
See, Eric started back in the 13th spot, currently being shown in the 8th position. How about that finish at Michigan last week? We talked about it earlier in the show before you came up here.
Wow, what a great race. That's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at its best. So great to see that. Great to see him using that side draft.
Take a look at this. Rick Crawford trying to hold off Colin Brown right now. 2 Fords racing for the 2nd spot. Is a lot of traffic now right in front of Rick Crawford and around. And it looks as though the green flag pit stops are underway. The 88 of Matt Crafton on pit road now. Ray.
They're going to drop the track bar around for Matt Crafton. You know, we're talking about these guys being tight all the time. The problem is most of them are also loose in. So dropping that track bar will help tighten them up a little bit on the way into the entry. Looks like 4 tires for the number 88. Number 21 coming in right behind him. You see Kevin Wood there. And it's so important for these young rookies to learn the way off of turn number 4 and get onto this tricky pit road, as Brad was talking about. One of the toughest to get on in NASCAR racing.
See Johnny continuing to lead, stays on the racetrack, has a 3.5 second lead right now over the 2nd place truck of Rick Crawford.
Landon Castle on pit road in the GoDaddy Chevrolet, teammate of mine in NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Adam Alexander.
And we talk about Landon Castle, been a status quo, a good night for him, 23rd to 11th. Status quo night for Stacy Compton, who you see right of your screen. He comes down pit road battling a tight race truck. 4 tires fuel for him. They will make adjustments. And there you see Landon Castle. Double weekend for him. He has been great in the early going, looking for his 2nd truck top 10. Here's Rick Crawford. Tight the word for him early. Air pressure, the adjustment they will make to help the handling. Crawford pulls away. His green flag pit stop coming at lap 72.
You hear a cowboy say, watch your speed down at the other end on the exit to pit road. There's Colin Brown making his way onto pit road.
He was locking up all 4 tires as he came onto pit road. Ray Dunlap.
He gives up 3rd position on the racetrack, and his crew chief Mike Beam telling him, how loose are you? He said, really only a 2 right now on my entry in. They're going to drop the track bar to help him turn through, and a little bit of air out of the rear tires for these guys. Adam?
Earlier tonight when Jack Sprague went out to qualify, he qualified in the top 5 for the 9th consecutive time at Milwaukee. He knows what it's all about, there's no doubt about it, and he's on pit road right now making his stop at lap 74, 4 tires and fuel, Ray.
A great race last weekend for Brendan Gaughan at Michigan, hoping to repeat again once tonight. Brendan asking for a drink from the side. These guys have a little bit of a hang-up on the left rear. This is going to be a costly pit stop for the 10. Adam?
And now Mike Skinner on pit road, tight in the center. The word for him in the early going. Skinner, who led over 100 laps and finished 4th a year ago, completes his service and will pull out right behind Sprague. The stop coming at lap 75. Terry Cook, a former winner, in front of Ray Dunlap.
Adam, he has been saying on the radio that he is just extremely tight, about a 7 tight. So they're going to make air pressure adjustments on the rear tires for the number 60 of Terry Cookie. Up 2 pounds on the lefts. Adam?
Mike Bliss, also a former winner here, and brings his truck down at lap 76. They've had a number of problems after starting in the 19th position tonight. A major chassis adjustment and 4 tires for Bliss, Ray.
Ron Hornaday afraid to make too big of a change because he believes that the racetrack is actually changing. We're getting complete cooling off down here right now as a cold front has started to roll into Milwaukee. They're going to do 4 tires on the Camping World Chevrolet.
Johnny Benson staying out on the racetrack. He's been out. There are only 3 trucks that were scored on the lead lap the last time by. And here comes Johnny Benson, our race leader, onto pit road now. Adam Alexander.
The numbers tell the story, leading 73 of 76 laps, and their fuel mileage outstanding. 77 is when he will come to pit road for the first time. He has said he's a bit loose. It will be a 4-tire stop, fuel, and they will also make a slight air pressure adjustment to tighten him up. He's going to pull away, Ray.
Eric Darnell is very happy with his Northern Tool Equipment Ford. They're not going to make any changes to the chassis here. Darnell rolls in, and just as he gets to the pit road, the yellow is going to come out. Tough break. They're going to get the tires changed on this thing, and Darnell should be able to get out before the pace car gets here.
Actually, that'll be a great break for him. He's going to get out right before while the yellow's out. He's going to maintain a lot of track ground on Johnny Benson.
The 30 truck of Todd Bodine has not pitted yet, so Todd will be our leader, and he's going to have a slew of trucks a lap down.
That should keep Eric on the lead lap at the very tail end there. Let's see how he lines up.
Todd Bodine still will have to come onto pit road. We see Eric Darnell making his way out onto the racetrack. This caution coming out on lap 78. I still haven't seen a spin. Was it debris on the racetrack? Or
no, the 40 truck of Paul Poulter actually is stalled at the entrance to the pit road. They didn't quite make it, still on the racetrack.
So that's the reason there for caution number 2 at the Milwaukee Mile. We're closing in on the halfway point. Again, this one's a 200 lap race, 200 miles. Todd Bodine out on the racetrack, stayed on the racetrack.
We're only showing right now, Rick, 6 trucks on the lead lap because of all those green flag pit stops. Todd Bodine, the 15 of Mark Mitchell, David Starr in the 11, Michael Annette, who spun out early in the 22, JB, and Eric Darnell. The only trucks right now being shown on the lead lap.
Johnny Benson and Eric Darnell being the only 2 of which who have pitted, so they'll actually get up in the 1st and 2nd spot when this all shakes out.
Ray Dunlap.
A very, very observant Turbo, the spotter for Todd Bodine, watching that 40 truck as he was going slowly down the back. He held off and said, let's not pit here for a lap or so to find out exactly what happens. You never know how that's going to cycle through. But Todd Bodine will be able to come to pit road here. Right now, he gives up that lead position on the racetrack.
So Todd Bodine on his way down pit road. Have service done to his Lumber Liquidators Toyota Tundra.
You know, that 40 truck was coasting along through that end of the racetrack for a long time, so everybody in the field saw that truck there going so slow, but some of these guys were probably so close to being out of fuel they had to stop.
Todd Bodine leaving pit road. Our lucky dog goes to Jack Sprague. He was actually scored in the 7th spot, a lap down, so our Highest scored lap down truck was Jack Sprague. He gets back on the lead lap. That will put 7 trucks on the lead lap when we restart from the Milwaukee Mile. Howard, the last truck on the lead lap, 13th right now. Shelby Howard just in front of Eric Darnell, our race leader.
Remember, 7 trucks on the lead lap, the 30 of Todd Bodine, the 23 of Johnny Benson. That's second and third. There's the 11 of David Starr. That's our 4th running truck. And there's Michael Annett. You know, the reason Michael Annett is on the lead lap because he stayed out. Because remember, when he spun out and caused our first caution flag, he came down pit road, got fuel and some tires. And now he was able to stay out a little bit longer, and he caught that caution flag that puts him back on the lead lap right now. Only 1 of 7 trucks.
And again, we say 1 of 7, but there are a few trucks just in front of those 7. And so they're on the tail end of the lead lap trying to stay in front of Eric Darnell. If a caution would come back, they would get that more or less free pass all the way around the racetrack to tack onto the back once again.
And that would be a happy day for all those guys.
Yeah, right now you're very tense in the truck if you're one of these guys in front of the leader. You know you've got a truck that's capable of running with them. You just need that break. You need that caution.
There's David Starr trying to make his way around that 10 truck with Brendan gone.
There's your race leader in the Northern Tool and Equipment Ford F-150, Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, remember, it is a long race, and Matt Pusha, the crew chief for Eric Darnell, telling him to please be careful with your brakes. He said the left front rotor has been glowing a great deal. Darnell had a lot of traffic up there to try to deal with as he has tried to weave his way through there. He's been using his brake in the center of the corner just a little bit too much. So Darnell being told from his crew chief, take it easy, we got to finish this thing.
Yeah, how much brake, Brad Keselowski, how much brake you use here in the truck versus a nationwide car?
You use a lot of brake here in the trucks. The trucks are, you know, a little bigger. They have a higher center of gravity, which on a track that's flat like this one, that's very difficult.
We're hearing our 3rd caution comes out on the racetrack. Now, a few guys are celebrating that. Guys like Colin Brown, Rick Crawford, Matt Crafton, Ron Hornaday, Mike Skinner.
Landon Castle looks like he's going to get the lucky dog. Good break for him.
So a big break as our 3rd caution has come out on lap 95.
All these trucks right here will come all the way back around the racetrack. There's, you can see right there, there's our lucky dog, Landon Castle. He will join those trucks. As you mentioned, we got Colin Brown, Rick Crawford, Matt Crafton, Ron Hornaday, Mike Skinner, Shelby Howard, Mike Bliss, and Landon Castle will all be on the lead lap when we restart this race.
Great break for Landon. He's been racing very hard and was able to get a spot back and get up there in that lucky dog spot.
Well, Brian Keselowski, we want to thank you for coming up here and joining you. Good luck tomorrow in that nationwide race.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
We'll be back. Again, our 3rd caution has come out at the Milwaukee Mile. A great crowd on hand for this one. Welcome back. It's Camping World RV Sales 200 presented on speed by Toyota from the Milwaukee Mile. Again, under our 3rd caution, quite a few trucks onto pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Interesting strategies going on down here, Rick. Lots of different things happening, and the crew chief's asking drivers their opinion. The 99 of Eric Darnell said we want to save our tires a bit, so they just put around a wedge in here on lap 97 and fuel, but no tires. Ron Hornaday, who pits right in front of him, decided to go for 4 tires. And we'll give you an update of what some of the other drivers did. Todd Bodine and a number of the others coming in also. It looks like 4 tires and fuel for Bodine on that pit stop. Adam?
Johnny Benson, who's been in the top 5 all night long and led more laps than anybody, was going to stay on track. But at the last minute when Darnell came down, he decided to as well. Fuel only for the 23, Johnny Benson, our pole setter tonight. And Rick Crawford, who had lost some track position after that cycle of green flag pit stops, came down pit road as well under caution. This time Crawford taking 4 tires and topping off the fuel tank.
Getting ready for the green flag once again. Out in front, it is Mark Mitchell, your race leader, just in front of that 99 of Eric Darnell. Terry Cook in the number 60 just in front of our race leader as they come to the green flag once again.
That 60 of Terry Cook and the 18 of Dennis Setzer are both on the tail end of the lead lap, as well as the 03 of Chrissy Wallace.
How does Dennis Setzer get to start on the inside lane if he's still on the lead lap?
They have the option.
Okay.
If you're on the tail end of the lead lap, you can start on the outside lane. But basically, he's a lap down truck, but on the tail end, as you see Eric Darnell take over that lead from the 15 of Mark Mitchell.
How about the 8? Chad McCumbee moving up on the inside.
Ooh, Johnny gets really loose, slides through that corner.
Oh, problem! Jack Sprague's going to slide right in front of the field, and here they go. Coming out of turn 4, a melee.
See Ron Hornaday involved. Brendan Gaughan involved in that 10 truck. Brian Scott's involved. David Starr, that 11 truck. Colin Brown with such a great run. He's also involved. There's Jack Sprague right there getting turned around. He has some damage to that RVs.com Chevrolet. Look at that left front fender. Virtually gone. There's David Starr with a lot of damage.
It was Jack Sprague who got sideways. It looked as though he may have had a little help from Johnny Benson, though.
Tremendous amount of damage to that 6 of Colin Brown. The 11 we saw a moment ago of David Starr. We're just in the worst spot there. Jack Sprague got turned around right there coming off turn 4 and just about completely blocked the racetrack. Great break for Terry Cook, though. He was able to stay in front of our leader, get his lap back, and now he rejoins the field.
Take another look at what just took place on the racetrack.
There's the 10 of Brendan Gaughan on the inside. There's Jack. Actually, Jack gets slowed down because he's right beside the 23 of Johnny Benson. He may have got a little bit of a nudge from the 10 of Brendan Gaughan. But then just track completely. Look at, you have 3 trucks completely sideways across the racetrack. Very little room for those guys to get around. Let's take another look at it. See if that 10 of Brendan Gaughan, I think he does make slight contact with the 2 of Jack Sprague. Then he in turn gets turned around by the 71 of Donnie Leah. Jack slides up the racetrack. The 16 makes contact. David Starr and Colin Brown make contact up against the wall. Here's another view from Mike Skinner's on board.
Trying to stay in the gas, and then everyone checking up.
See Mike Skinner all over the back of that 11 truck of David Starr. Here's Ted Musgrave right here, the 59 truck. See Jack gets turned around. Ted's going to go right through the middle, and looks like he's going to, ooh! At the very last second, Jack Sprague catches the right front corner of Ted Musgrave.
Ray Dunlap.
Ron Hornaday telling his guys this is just like a regular pit stop. We got to get in and get out. They did just that. Pulled the fenders out of that Camping Road Chevrolet, sent him back to the track. So he'll be ahead of all these other guys that are getting service on the pit road right now. We see David Starr is down in here. Lots and lots of damage on a number of these trucks, including the 6 truck of Colin Brown, who has big damage on the left front. Adam?
And Jack Sprague, who was hoping his luck would turn around here tonight, said, "You have got to be kidding me," on the radio when the accident happened. Ernie Cope, the crew chief, the man calling the shots, they took no tires when they came down pit road this first time, simply assessed the damage, pulled all the fenders out to make sure there were no rubs once they changed tires, and they will make multiple pit stops here under caution, trying to maintain their position on the lead lap. But yet another night when things don't go the way of Jack Sprague, despite the fact that he's got a very good race truck.
A lot of damage to the 6 as well as that team goes to work on that Ford F-150. It happened coming out of turn number 4 at the Milwaukee Mile.
There's a craftsman in all of us.
She's all yours.
For those who are passionate about their vehicles, only one battery will do. The Optima battery with spiral cell AGM technology and up to twice the life of ordinary batteries. No vehicle is complete until it has an Optima. Look for its colored top and 6-pack design at your local auto parts dealer.
Comedian Alonzo Bowden takes you on an epic automotive journey.
Get the hell out of here. What are you, crazy?
101 cars you must drive.
I like the vague approximation of brakes.
Series premiere Monday, 9 Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
First dates are brutal.
No, he's early. Oh no, oh no! Hello?
This is Jim from Brinks Home Security. Are you all right?
I don't know. Someone tried to break in.
Sending help right now.
Call 1-800-419-4110 now to blanket your home with protection from Brinks Home Security and install a personalized system for just $99. Inside, Brinks delivers peace of mind to you and your family with state-of-the-art sensors and detectors engineered to help protect and alert. Brinks Home Security, dedicated to rapid response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
With over 1 billion movies delivered so far, and never a late fee, grab a seat. It's movie time. Netflix.
Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is presented on Speed by Toyota. Moving forward. Brought to you in part by Camping World RV Sales. Everyday low prices guaranteed. By Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. And by Sitgard Sindurance heavy-duty engine oil and overdrive grease. Sitco lubricants. There at every turn.
Under the lights from the Milwaukee Mile, our most recent caution number 4, coming out on lap 100. And quite a few different trucks involved in this accident. Letting them know one more lap around before we get the green flag back. There's a list of who is involved in this accident.
Of course, it's almost easier to say who's not involved in this accident. You see Brian Scott right there. A lot of damage to that Albertson Chevrolet. Here's their list right here. Jack Sprague, Mike Skinner, Colin Brown. So many of these trucks running so well. Brennan Gaughan, the 10 truck. David Starr. We saw Brian Scott's. There's Mike Skinner right there in the pits. Ron Hornaday and Musgrave. I think Ron Hornaday may have the least amount of damage of just about anybody. How about Mike Skinner, Adam?
Well, they've got a brace hanging out on the left front fender, and I think that's where the concern is right now. They were trying to pull it out when they came down on this 3rd consecutive pit stop. Now, they're damaged, not big time. They changed 4 tires on their first trip, fixed the left front fender on their second, and Jeff Hensley very optimistic they're fine despite the fact they cannot pull that brace off on their 3rd stop. We'll continue to see what NASCAR's reaction is to that, Ray.
Mike Beam assessing the damage down here on the Conway Freight Ford. They are checking out whether they need to pull the radiator. This truck is very, very hot right now, but they didn't have any lighting. They just now got some temporary lighting in here to be able to see on the inside if they can fix it the way it is or whether they got to pull the radiator and change it.
Such a tough break for that young driver. Had such a good run going here and just caught up in something not of his making.
Started 4th on the day. Was running well. And now off the racetrack. Green flag back in the air. In front of this field, it's Eric Darnell, Mark Mitchell, Johnny Benson, Mike Lynette, and Rick Crawford, your top 5.
Again, Ron Hornaday was so heavily involved in an incident, restarted in the 9th spot.
See a few damaged trucks going by our camera as they go down the backstretch.
Right now, Eric Darnell is seeing something he hasn't seen for a long time. Clean racetrack in front of him.
Clean air on the front of the 99 Ford F-150.
3 wide right there. Rick Crawford on the inside. That's Michael Lynette, the 22. You see, he's got a little bit of damage from that incident earlier, but doing a nice job. Going to battle back on the inside. That's a 0-3 of Chrissy Wallace. Outside Michael Lynette. Michael Lynette right now is being shown in the 4th position. There's a battle for second. Johnny Benson moves up to second. Trying to battle the 15 of Mark Mitchell. There's Rick Crawford, who actually got by Michael Lynette to take over that 4th spot. He's trying to follow Johnny Benson by that 15. Actually, he's going to make it 3 wide.
3 wide. Rick Crawford to the inside. Johnny Benson giving up the spot as Crawford moving forward. Mark Mitchell drops back as well, the number 15.
Great move by Rick Crawford. Johnny Benson got seized up just a little bit trying to get by that 15, and Rick took advantage of it. Adam, what's going on with that 15 truck?
Well, and when you look at the 3 trucks we just saw on track racing for position, they're all on 3 different strategies. Mark Mitchell, who you see here, did not pit when the other guys came down at lap 96. So the last time he was on pit road, you have to go back to lap 78. Those tires a bit older. You saw Rick Crawford go around Johnny Benson. Crawford took tires at 96. Benson did not. So perhaps the tires paying off for the 14 truck.
See Landon Castle trying to get by that 0-3 of Chrissy Wallace, as well as Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, and Mike Bliss, the 33, the 30, and the 15 or the 51.
Yeah, I'd said Mike Bliss got back on the lead lap a little earlier. He was actually on the tail end of 2 laps down. He did get one of those laps back, but he is still being shown 1 lap down right now.
On the scoring monitor, we're seeing 16 trucks on the lead lap. Currently, the final truck on the lead lap is Brendan Gaughan. But in front of him, great racing, battling for position. That's Mark Mitchell just in front of Michael Annett. Again, Michael Annett making his first ever start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
It's a battle for the 5th spot right there. Remember, Michael Annett brought out our first caution flag early on with a spin over in turns 3 and 4. But had some good fortune to be able to stay out when we had green flag pit stops. One of the about 4 trucks that stayed out and was able to stay on the lead lap.
Michael Annett trying to get by that 15 of Martin Mitchell. That would be for the 4th spot. In front of the field, once again, Eric Darnell and Rick Crawford run second. So the Blue Ovals running 1 and 2 at the Milwaukee Mile.
Every fan knows the best way to watch a race from the infield is on the roof of an RV. What if you could get that same great view from inside your motorhome? It's like having your own luxury suite, a bird's eye view of the action from the air-conditioned comfort of your own motorhome.
Should it be swaying like that?
We're TireRack.com. We'd like to change the way you change your tires. See, we don't just sell tires, we test them on our test track and on real-world roads.
At TireRack.com, we share everything we learn.
And we let you post your reviews too. Cool, huh? We stock nearly 1 million tires.
That's the largest selection anywhere.
That means we have more tires for you to choose from than anyone else. Tire Rack ships to most places in 2 business days. We deliver to you or thousands of our independent recommended installers. There's one near you. All this at prices that won't leave you flat. Get a $75 gift card to Crutchfield.com when you buy 4 Yokohama Advanced Sport tires. For details, go to TireRack.com/TV. TireRack.com. Research, buy, deliver, install.
Camping World RV Sales 200 presented on speed by Toyota. Heating up front. Rick Crawford is going to try to take the top spot away from Eric Darnell. Rick Crawford led the first lap here at the Milwaukee Mile and now looks to the inside of Eric Darnell as they are battling for the lead.
Rick Crawford's so hungry for a win. Did not win in 2007. Had won races the 3 years previous to that. Actually 4 years previous to that. So Rick Crawford wanting desperately to get back in the winner's circle for that Circle Bar Racing team. Look, he's going to look to the outside of Eric Darnell.
What a strong truck that 14 is tonight. And there on the right side of your screen, you see Ron Hornaday getting by the 15 of Mark Mitchell. Now the 30 of Todd Bodine's going to try to make that pass as well as Rick Crawford. About a half a truck length behind the 99. He goes with the higher line through 1 and 2.
He's using a lot of that racetrack up there, looking for some grip up there. All the trucks, the majority of the trucks running down on the bottom of the racetrack. He gets slick down there with that much rubber put down. That's why Rick is looking up, actually going to diamond the racetrack, going to try to get underneath maybe Eric Darnell. Remember now, we're hearing a threat of possible rain in the area, so this may be the pass for the win if we get some rain.
How about that? Rick Crawford gets by the 99 of Eric Darnell. Darnell's going to try to come back on him. A great pass by Crawford, set him up well, was going high through the turns and then ducked back to the inside, got by that 99, and now here comes Johnny Benson in the 23 once again.
There's our top 4 trucks right there. JB's running 3rd in the 23, and Matt Crafton up to 4th in that 88 Menard Chevrolet.
There have been so many storms in the area throughout the Midwest for a couple weeks now, and we're hearing that the possibility of another thunderstorm is coming in this direction. So everyone trying to make their moves now as we've completed 118 of the 200 laps. We want to make sure we get to the scheduled distance of 200 laps tonight. But the possibility exists this one could be rain short. Battle for third, Johnny Benson, Matt Crafton. Crafton moving to the inside of Benson, trying to take that spot away.
You know, Johnny was so strong at the beginning of the race. I didn't know if anybody had anything for Johnny, but right now he's seems to be a little bit off. Remember, it's cooled off quite a bit. Obviously, the sun's gone down, and looks like Johnny's truck is not quite as good as it was early on in this race.
Our camera operators on the backstretch are telling us that they are feeling raindrops now. So this is a big battle right here for the third spot. Crafton tries to take it away from Johnny Benson once again.
Johnny doesn't want to give it up. He knows that we could possibly get rain. That is a position right there.
Crafton with the nose just in front of that 23. Benson not giving up any ground. This time he tucks in behind that 88. Let's see if he goes to the inside and try to take it back.
Not quite able to do anything right there. Remember, if we don't get any rain, no weather issues, we will have one more pit stop for all these teams.
A little bit of a curve on the inside of this racetrack. Hornaday just in front of Todd Bodine there for 8th.
That's Shelby Howard right there, that 13 truck. He's in the 7th position right now.
Ray Dunlap.
Rick, you know, one of the things I love about the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the fact that with limited tires, we have so many differing strategies. Look at the guys up front you're talking about. Crawford, Darnell, Kraft, and Benson. Those guys came in and pitted and got fuel only or only 2 tires. But how about a little further back in the field? Hornaday and Bodine, those guys went with the strategy of putting 4 tires on, thinking that we're going to run the whole distance of this race. And if we do, that very well may play into their hands, because when they come down pit road for that final stop, they've got differing options than those other guys. You know that Crawford and Darnell and them have to go with 4 tires to finish out this race. How about Hornaday and the 30? Phil, what do you think of their strategy?
Ray, I think if they have tires left, they're going to want to put them on too, but they may have been banking on the possible rain, some weather issues, and they wanted to have the best tires on. But right now, remember, Ron Hornaday is going to battle with that 13 of Shelby Howard in the battle for 7th. Right now, they have a lot of track position to make up. They're being shown about 9 seconds behind our leader right now, Rick Crawford.
That was a pass for position. Shelby Howard will drop back to the 8th spot as Ron Hornaday has taken away 7th from Shelby Howard. An impressive performance tonight for Shelby. He started 8th today. His career best 6th at Mansfield earlier this year. He has run at this racetrack once before. He finished 21st back in 2004.
There's Michael Annette, Landon Castle. They're being shown in 5th and 6th. Great runs for both those young drivers. There's 7th, 8th, and 9th. Hornaday, Shelby Howard, and Todd Bodine. Right now, Rick Crawford has opened up about a 2.5 lead over Eric Darnell.
Again, we've touched on the fact that there has been moisture in the area. Our camera operators felt the raindrops on the backstretch. We haven't seen anything as far as affecting any of the cameras on our trucks, the onboards that are being carried by 3 different drivers. And we haven't seen anything on the racetrack. Battle for 5th. Landon Castle and Michael Annette. Adam Alexander.
And it wasn't a battle for very long. Landon Castle has been impressive here tonight. First time he's ever been to the Milwaukee Mile. Started 23rd. Quickly drove his way up into the top 10. And some good pitch strategy by crew chief Eric Phillips has now helped him gain even more track position. Riding in the 5th position mainly because the truck is good and they took no tires. Fuel only at lap 96. This guy has been good in everything he's driven lately. His 5th Truck Series start here tonight, and 11th and 9th in his last 2 Nationwide Series starts, Ray.
Adam, there's a pretty big storm just to our west coming in over turn number 1. I just looked at the radar, and it is bright red there, but it's a very, very small cell, and there's nothing behind it. So it appears to me, by looking at this radar, this storm could drop a lot of rain on us, but it definitely looks like nothing's right behind that. So it'll be a big call for NASCAR on whether or not they have to stop this race for a short period of time. It looks like behind this cell there's nothing else.
There's a big storm brewing on the racetrack right there with that 88 truck of Matt Crafton. I've been watching his lap times. very, very quick lap times. Sometimes when Rick Crawford has clean racetrack, he will be the fastest truck. If not, then Matt Crafton has been the fastest truck a number of laps.
Crafton just took the second spot away from the 99 of Eric Darnell. Ted Musgrave trying to get by that 15 of Mark Mitchell. Musgrave's been a couple laps down, so it's been a tough night for Ted Musgrave, a two-time winner at this racetrack.
Yeah, Mark Mitchell is still on the lead lap right now, being shown in the 12th position. We have 15 trucks right now on the lead lap. Brendan Gaughan now is on the verge of going a lap down. There's our leader, Rick Crawford, about a second-half lead over that 88 of Matt Crafton.
It would be a difficult night if Rick Crawford has to put his teammate Brendan Gaughan a lap down, but it has been 45 races since Rick Crawford was in victory lane. The last win came at ORP in 2006. Rick Crawford trying to get Ford back into victory lane for just the second time in 2008. It was last week when Eric Darnell was in victory lane, the first time in 08 that Ford has been to victory lane.
I get out and I ride with my buddies every week.
Make sure you remember.
I do remember. We're not going to give the answer away right away, though. We want you to try to figure it out.
There's our fourth place truck right there, Johnny Benson lapping by the 10. That crippled truck of Brendan Gaughan. Remember, Brendan was involved in that huge accident off of turn number 4. There goes Eric Darnell. He's also going to go by. Remember now, Johnny Benson just passed Eric Darnell to take over that third spot. There's our leader right there, Rick Crawford. And here comes Matt Crafton.
Matt Crafton trying to close the gap. It's been 1.8 seconds. Rick Crawford had on the 88, and then we've got a good battle back there behind them. 22nd Mike, or the 6th place, the 22 truck of Mike Lynette just in front of Ron Hornaday. That's for the 6th position. Meteorologist Ray Dunlap, what are you hearing?
Well, we're just looking at this radar as I was telling you about, Rick, and if you see right here the city of Milwaukee, we're in West Allis, right here about on the interstate. Just to the south of that is Greenfield Avenue, and look where that big storm is. It should be right over top of us right now. We may have gotten really lucky and skirted this thing, but you'll notice out to the west, that's all ground clutter, nothing behind it, so we're looking pretty good. We may have gotten lucky and be able to run this thing all 200 laps.
Wayne Auton never has a Truck Series rain out. He always talks about how he's been very lucky and sometimes wears a lucky shirt. Wayne Auton's our series director for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Crawford has led 21 of the 134 laps. Again, he led the first 3 of this race, and then Johnny Benson took over the point once again. But Crawford with a strong run here at Milwaukee. Adam.
And Crawford has always been very quiet on the radio. Each lap he crosses the start-finish line, his crew chief, Kevin Cowboy Starlin, reads him his lap times and then reminds him to run his race because Crafton is coming from behind, as you guys have documented. And then also he's getting help from the spotter stand. Calvin Humphreys, who's calling the shots up top tonight, telling Crawford to maintain his pace and his patience as he goes through this lap traffic here going around Justin Marks on the track.
See that bit of a slowdown getting by that 9 of Justin Marks has allowed Matt Crafton to gain on Rick Crawford. He's now down within a second, but he also has to go by that same traffic as you see Matt Crafton trying to get by that 9 of Justin Marks.
Again, there's the 14 of Rick Crawford just going out of the left of your screen. There's the 88 of Matt Crafton. Crafton looks to have the preferred line now on Justin Marks.
Yeah, Justin gives him plenty of room. You can see right now Matt Crafton is definitely closing up on that 14 of Rick Crawford. There's a 03 of Chrissy Wallace. Rick gets by Chrissy. Now Matt's going to get seized up a little bit. Chrissy down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's expecting Chrissy to move up the racetrack and give him some room. Did not do it. That will cost Matt Crafton up to a second. You can see right there he closed him within about a half a dozen truck lengths, and unfortunately right now he's going to be probably about 2 seconds behind. He came by last time less than a half second behind. Let's see what the computer shows when he comes by this time. Rick Crawford completes lap number 137 in 1.5 seconds. Lap 138 completed. So 1 second it cost Matt Crafton to try to get by Chrissy Wallace that time.
And now it's clean racetrack between Rick Crawford and Matt Crafton. We'll see what he can do with that clean racetrack here under the lights at the State Fair Park. West Allis, Wisconsin, the Milwaukee Mile.
Now, Chrissy didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
You're really told as a lap truck to stay over on the inside. Matt expected her to go to the outside, but that's not necessarily what Chrissy was supposed to do. But unfortunately for Matt Crafton, it cost him a second.
When are we going to see stops one more time on this racetrack? We're completing lap 140 now of 200. Will it be just a stop and go? Will it be a quick splash of fuel at the end?
Yeah, for a green flag pit stop, I think we're probably going to see, we're going to probably have to stop with about 30 laps to go. If they have to take a full can of fuel, you might as well put right side tires on. I don't think it's going to take probably 6 seconds to put 1 can of fuel in, and you can change right side tires in 6 or 7 seconds. So I think that would be the strategy that I would employ.
Talked about Johnny Benson and looking to make it 3 wins, 3 consecutive wins at this racetrack.
It's a battle for the 10th spot right there. There's Dennis Setzer, the 18 Dodge out of the BHR stable, and there's Mike Skinner. Remember, Mike Skinner has quite a bit of damage. Mike's able to maintain a pretty good pace with all that damage from that earlier big incident we had coming off turn 4.
Hearing a little bit of thunder actually in the area. Ray had shown us the radar where the issue was to the south of this racetrack. We're hoping that everything does pass to the south.
Great battle right here. Mike Skinner on the inside, Setzer on the outside. It's a battle for a top 10 spot right there. Mike Skinner has it.
So Mike Skinner taking the spot away. It's Rick Crawford, who his team is out of Texas. The last time we talked about him, we threw in the country western type of theme. We've got a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid battle going on now with Rick Crawford in front of Matt Crafton.
Roger, night down for me, please.
All set here.
Being fast from 0 to 60 is good. Truckers say being fast from 40 to 70, even better. Throw in 4 massive disc brakes, and you got yourself one happy ending. Available on the full-size Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
I love boats. Crazy about boats. I love working with my hands. You have a sense of freedom and power. Wildtech's a good place to start. We actually got to see how things work, got our hands dirty. To me, that's exciting. It's a rush. Everything today is computerized. You have to have the know-how. They show how things are done in the field. Hands-on experience. I am proud to be a professional marine technician. My name is John. My school is Wildtech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Train with Wildtech. 1-800-853-1078.
How can we possibly keep up with DirecTV when they have almost 100 of the best national HD channels that our customers want?
Jim, whip up some numbers that make it look like we have, like, I don't know, 1,000 HD channels.
We can't say that.
Not a good idea.
90% of all statistics can be made to say anything.
90%.
50% of the time.
I think we can make that work.
Awesome!
The math is simple. Get more TV for your money. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
They say NASCAR fans are like family. On second thought, maybe they're better. I mean, no one here will pinch your cheek or bring up that embarrassing moment in gym class. Or call you by your pet name till you're 45 years old. 3 days camping out with your fellow fans, that's heaven. 3 days with the great aunt who keeps tussling your hair, well.
This weekend on Speed, we're getting down.
Here comes the king of the Outlaws. Really supplying heavy pressure. Now he goes for the slide job.
With Outlaws.
Side by side, neither driver giving it in. Oh, trouble!
And Dirty.
Our guns are loaded and we're ready to go off out here.
With high-flying off-road trucks.
There's action going on all over this track.
He just flat-footed that thing, man.
Saturday, Advance Auto Parts World of Outlaws, 4 Eastern. Sunday, Championship Off-Road Racing, 5 Eastern. Only on.
Under caution for the 5th time tonight. This time it's for rain. The Camping World RV Sales 200 presented on Speed by Toyota. Lap 146. when the yellow flag was displayed. So the field slows down once again at the Milwaukee Mile.
Now's a decision time for these crew chiefs because it's not raining very hard. Ray showed us the radar. It doesn't look like there's much other than we just caught the very tail end of the list of this little shower right here. So if I'm a gambling crew chief, I'm going to make my pit stop now, thinking we're going to get this race restarted. Adam, what are they talking about down there?
And that's what Cowboy Kevin Starlin said just on the radio a moment ago to Rick Crawford. He said, we are in a bad spot here, but I don't think this rain is going to be so bad they won't continue the race. If pit road opens, we have to come down. So we'll see if that pans out. But that's the call right now for Kevin Starlin, the guy you see on your screen. And then Rick came back and said, Cowboy, it's not even raining right now. So I think their thought process is go on as if the weather's not even in the area and see how it works out.
You know, right now, Jack Sprague is our last truck on the lead lap. He's running 14th. I believe if I'm Jack Sprague, his truck's crippled anyway. I'm going to stay out. And if it starts raining, great. If it doesn't start raining, they give one to go. Then I'm going to make my pit stop then. I'm not really going to lose that much. So it may be a good gamble for him. And you hear Cowboy said, come to us, Rick.
On to pit road they go. Adam Alexander.
Last time Rick Crawford was in, lap 96, he got 4 tires and fuel. They will do the same here. They call for no changes. They talked about changes, and then Cowboy said, if you like where it is, Rick, I'm going to leave it the same way. 4 tires, the call for Rick Crawford. Johnny Benson will also make a pit stop here for 4 tires to Ray Dunlap.
Matt Craftsman running second. He comes in. They said, what should we do here? Bud Haefele, the crew chief, said, you do whatever the 14 does. They're going to go with 4 tires right here. They believe this race is going to go the complete distance. Eric Darnell also in on pit road, along with Todd Bodine. The 33 of Ron Hornaday also in down the way. Bodine's going to go with 4 tires also.
Johnny Benson wins the battle off pit road, Ray, and it's side by side for second between the 88 of Matt Crafton and the 14 of Rick Crawford. We show Rick Crawford coming off second.
He gunned it right before he got to that yellow line as they were crossing the commitment line, or the exit of pit road line. So you're seeing the race off of pit road. Benson grabbing a couple spots. Crawford, Crafton dropping back. Landon Castle gets 1. Bodine gets 2. So a great race off of pit road. Take a look here. Johnny Benson and then the race for second.
Yeah, they were side by side. Let's see who gets there. It looks like Rick Crawford on the outside by a nose.
Oh, that was a huge separation compared to Michigan.
Oh, we're being told that the 14 too fast exiting the pits.
So they're going to take him back onto pit road.
What a horrible break for Rick Crawford. There's Cowboy right there. If Rick Crawford has to come down pit road, give up all that track position, it may be over for him as far as winning this race. Adam?
And Rick Crawford just came on the radio after they told him what the situation was, and he said, everyone's got to be quiet when I'm exiting the pit lane. No celebrating, no nothing. A guy who appeared to be in line to win a race for the first time in 2 seasons, going to lose a great deal of track position. He'll restart outside the top 15 more than likely, and he'll have his work cut out for him with just over 50 laps to go.
Yeah, Adam, here he is exiting his pits right here. He's got to drive around Mark Mitchell.
And I think it happens when he tries to race the 88 off of pit road.
Watch this, the 88 is going to pull out of this pit on the inside. And they're going to run side by side down to the end of pit road. Rick Crawford will have to restart this race from the tail end of the longest line. You see right there, the 88 is ahead of Rick, right there. And at the last second, right at the last segment right there, he guns it just a little bit to get in front of that 88, and that may have been what cost him.
So NASCAR officials telling us that he'll have to go to the tail end of the longest line. Our race leader will be the 23 of Johnny Benson. Matt Crafton runs second. Welcome back. These aren't pit stops that the trucks are making onto pit road. It is going to be a red flag condition. A thunderstorm is on its way. Heavy lightning and thunder right behind the grandstands just to the west of us. And there you saw a flash, and Kim Lopez said, wait a minute, I'm not so sure I want to be up here on the flag stand. Yeah, it was a big one right there. We're hearing that the crowd is being told that they are supposed to leave the grandstands. Again, the storms have been relentless here in the Midwest. And again, we have a storm coming through this area. No moisture as of yet. We were hearing about raindrops on the backstretch. There was some light rain that caused us to go to a caution situation on lap 146, and now the red flag has come out. And so the trucks will stop on pit road, and that stops this race. Adam Alexander.
And Trip Bruce, the crew chief for Johnny Benson. Been quite a night for you guys. Yo-yoed around a little bit with a green flag pit stop segment and so on. But how do you feel with 50 laps to go? And you're where you need to be out front.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the pit crew tonight. And Toyota certified used vehicles guys just put him out front when it was time. And I mean, that's the most nerve-wracking decision to ever have to make, is what to do when a storm is over your shoulder at night and you can't see it. And there's, we don't have the best equipment out here following radar. So I watched you guys on TV show us that storm, and I felt like 4 tires and fuel to make it to the end was the right thing to do. But now I hope it rains hard,
I bet you do. And Ray, when I was climbing up here to talk to Tripp, I heard one of the crew members say, we may have just won Johnny this race, and that is a fact. He's out front. Great pit work by the 23 bunch.
Well, Adam, Bud Hafley just told me he thinks it's only heat lightning, and I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen a race stopped when it's dry. This is a very interesting call, but I know you guys are thinking that the race is going to go all 200 laps.
Yeah, we hope it is since we pitted. But the guys had a good stop, running second, so I think we're better than the 23 right now. We'll just see if they restart the race.
And was there any thoughts of doing differing strategy there, Bud? I know you guys went with 4 tires. Looked like everybody up this end of pit road did the same call.
Nah, we couldn't make it on fuel anyway, so we had to pit either now or later.
All right, so Matt Crafton has 4 tires and fuel, and they're planning on it going the distance. Some pretty cool lightning down here, but interesting because it's dry and we're under the red flag.
Rick, remember when I said it may be a good time for somebody like Jack Sprague to do some strategy and maybe stay out because he was at the tail end, he was the last car in the lead lap? Well, had he stayed out or anybody else stayed out, they would be leading right now. Again, we may get this race restarted, and I hope we do, but it would be nice to be sitting in the lead right now and maybe hoping for rain.
Ray used the adjective cool to describe the lightning. Those of us that are up here in the grandstands, I don't think the word cool is coming to mind right off the bat as far as a descriptor. In front of this field, though, it is Johnny Benson. And earlier we talked about how many other drivers have ever won 3.
Truckers told us to give them a heck of a truck. He told us not to pull any punches. So we gave them a big engine, big towing, big frame, and big brakes. What'd we get out of it? A big old pat on the back. The 2008 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the Toyota Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
So you speed. Monday, comedian Alonzo Bowden takes you on an automotive adventure. Don't miss out on the experience and fun of getting behind the wheel of 101 cars you must drive. Network Series premiere Monday at 9 p.m. exclusively on Speed. Again, under a red flag condition, lightning. The story right now at the Milwaukee Mile in front of this field. It's Johnny Benson. Matt Crafton got off pit road second. Rick Crawford got off pit road third. But the problem is he was caught for speeding on pit road. Again, while we're under this red flag condition, let's take a look at our race summary after a 150 of the 200 laps run. Johnny Benson in front. 6 different drivers have changed the top spot 10 times. Our average speed just over 90 miles an hour, and our cautions 5 for 21 laps.
I really think we're going to get this thing back in. Ray, what's Matt Crafton thinking? We're going to get this thing in?
Well, he's down here talking it over with Ron Hornaday. Tell me about your race so far. You've been up front a good bit.
Yeah, this Menard Chevy Silverado, it's good. And we haven't honestly really touched anything. And from the start of the race, we've talked about changing air pressure, and it's kind of, at first it's a little off, and then it comes to me, and we chat a lot about it, but we haven't done anything. So hopefully we can get back to racing because this thing is really good. It takes about 5 laps for it to get going, but it's good. So I look forward to finishing this deal.
You were talking about the lightning over there in turn 1. Pretty good view even from inside the truck, huh?
Oh yeah, no, that was big. I mean, I was watching the people in the stands. They were troopers. I was grounded to the rubber, so I was all right. But these people in the grandstands, I got to thank them for staying out for as long as they have, watching that lightning behind them. I would have ran a long time if I was sitting in them aluminum grandstands. So thanks for them coming out and watching us tonight.
All right, good run so far for Matt Crafton. Currently in second here as we're under the red flag. Adam?
How about another youngster, Landon Castle, 23rd to 3rd with 50 laps to go here at Milwaukee. Pretty solid night for you. How good's it been?
It's been pretty good. You know, GoDaddy.com Chevrolet has been pretty strong all night. You know, it's just been free, and it's allowed me to roll the bottom and get by some of these guys. And with a little bit of luck, I think we've worked our way up to the front. So it's a good run for GoDaddy.com, good run for Morgan Dollar Racing.
Now, I'm looking at those guys in front of you. Benson and Crafton have been pretty solid. Any plans on what you can do with them when this thing goes back green?
I think once it gets going, you know, we can get some clean air and get going, and I just need a long run, and hopefully I can work on them. You know, these guys got a lot of laps here, and they're both pretty good, but I think we can get the GoDaddy.com Chevy up front.
Very solid night for Landon Castle. He's done a good job inside the truck. The team has managed the race very well, and he may get his first NASCAR top 5 here tonight, guys.
Landon Castle, one of the young guys making his first start at the Milwaukee Mile.
There's Ron Hornaday right there talking it over with Matt Crafton. Ron right now is in the 6th spot.
We'll be back with more.
Having a half ton with
him is something I'll never forget. So this is pretty special.
Well, 50th birthday celebration for Ron Hornaday. Right now he is currently 7th in the running order, and just a moment ago he said, I'll take a 7th tonight if they just call this race right now. And Rick Wren, as crew chief, I heard you say on the radio a little while ago that you missed a setup tonight. Where did you miss?
Well, I kind of tried something here, and I kind of missed. I got him so loose getting in, he can't drive it down in the corner. And, you know, this is a real high-braking racetrack while you're turning in, and if I got him loose getting in, it's a handful. It's not fun for him. It's not fun for me watching him drive through this corner. And I just missed it. That's all there is to it. And we got 50 laps to go. We got some fresh tires on. We'll see if we can get us a couple more spots. But I'm telling you what, if we could come out with the top 5, I might dance the jig.
You know, Rick, I don't think everybody at home has any idea just how fickle these trucks have gotten now with the aero package we have on them and these coil bind setups. I mean, just the smallest adjustments and you can really dial yourself out.
Yeah, I'm talking a couple of clicks and a shock can make an adjustment on one of these trucks now. And they're really, you're just fine-tuning, and there's almost no room for air to run up front every week. And we've been fortunate. I mean, we've run up front every week this year, and like my car chief and I were talking, it kind of spoils you. You just think you're kind of invincible, and tonight's a wake-up call.
All right, well, Ron Hornaday hoping to celebrate that 50th birthday with a win tonight, but I believe we're going to run all 200 laps here, so they may have a chance to move towards the front just a little bit yet. Adam?
And while Hornaday's celebrating a birthday, this guy wants to celebrate a win. Johnny Benson right where he needs to be with 50 to go. So what's your biggest concern when this thing goes back green, JB?
Not get hit by lightning, probably. But it's, I mean, look, hopefully it's going to clear off. I mean, I'd love to run this thing and go to the end. But Trip Bruce and the guys were an awesome pit stop right there. I mean, that's what it was about. So Toyota Certified Used Vehicles Tundra, really good at the start. The second set of tires, not so good. And hopefully this set will be a little bit better. I mean, I think they are, but, you know, you don't know until you get going. So the 88's pretty strong. 99's been pretty good. But on a long run, we're decent. So 50 laps, hopefully we can get it done. Back-to-back years going to victory lane here. How does this truck compare? Because it's been good tonight. It's been pretty good for sure. I mean, I'd be okay if it rained. I mean, really whatever they want. But, you know, as long as fans are able to come back in a grandstand to see the end of this race, that's really all that matters, you know, just see what we can do. But like I say, I've been real proud of everybody here in the 23 Bill Davis Toyota, and they did a great job qualifying. The pit stop's been awesome. Setup's been great. We just need to go another 50 laps. It'll be all right. He may have gotten robbed last week, but there's no denying JB is here to stay this evening at the front under the red at Milwaukee.
He will try to hold on to that spot. NASCAR's letting us know that they're going to try to put the drivers back in their trucks here momentarily. This is the race off of pit road. His team did a great job getting him back out there onto pit road. As he goes to the start-finish line, it was Rick Crawford that was following behind him, and then the 88 of Matt Crafton came out.
So often we see a battle on pit road really affecting the outcome of the race. Right there, we obviously Rick Crawford now is taken out of contention as we see JB getting back in his truck. But, you know, it may not be a deal where they're going to call this race because of the lightning or rain or whatever, but Johnny Benson has the lead right now, and that may be enough to get him out front of that 88. He's got clean racetrack, clean air, and that could be the difference just by having that lead already and not having to pass Matt Crafton. So great job by Tripp Bruce and his entire Toyota crew.
Followed the 33, Ron Hornaday back to his truck. 50-year-old Ron Hornaday today running 7th to the field. Welcome back. Camping World RV Sales 200 presented on speed by Toyota. Red flag was out. They're going to switch that shortly to yellow as all the drivers have strapped into their trucks. They'll be rolling back out on, well, almost all the drivers have strapped into their trucks. See Mike Skinner still waiting to get in. Eric Darnell's strapped in, though. He's ready to go. Darnell will restart 4th when we go back to the green flag in front of the field. Johnny Benson looking to make it 3 consecutive wins from the Milwaukee Mile. Maybe some Green Bay Packer fans here.
There's a craftsman in all of us.
Call or click today.
Welcome back. The Milwaukee Mile still quiet as they haven't fired the engines yet. The drivers have been instructed to climb back into their trucks and strap in as they are getting ready for the command to fire the engines once again here from the Milwaukee Mile. Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. Under this red flag, the drivers have now gotten back into their trucks, and NASCAR told them you can do 2 things. Number 1, you can take the tear off that was on your windshield and rip it away. And number 2, you can adjust your air pressures. So the crew members went out there with their small air tanks, checked all the air pressures on all 4 tires, took off your the tear off on your windshield, and that's all they could do as we get ready to go back to green flag racing.
And again, the rain hasn't fallen. It's been the thunder and lightning. Lightning, obviously, more in particular, that they called the red flag for.
Yeah, that happened back in 2004 in the Nationwide Series. They actually put a red flag out because of lightning. Slobby told us there while we were
Bill Sloboda. You can call him Sloppy if you want, but normally that's
Slobby.
Mike.
Slobby.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, Slobby. Don't forget Jimmy. Obviously, Jimmy's up here giving us all the stats as well. Let's take a look at how we got to this point in our race summary.
Early on, Michael Annette, the 22, bounces up off the curb, gets turned around, does not make any contact with the outside wall.
And green flag pit stops. We had a problem then with the 40. Paul Poulter, he runs out of gas on the outside of that run there.
That brings the caution out, put a lot of guys a lap down, and this is the big wreck, lap number 99. Jack Sprague gets nudged a little bit and just blocks the racetrack. About 10 trucks involved in this incident.
Take another look, riding along with Ted Musgrave. Looks as though he's going to get through here, and then no. Ted gets into the 2 of Jack Sprague, so a lot of damage to that 2, a lot of damage to the 59. Lap 144, they say it's raining, so they bring him off of the racetrack, and then the lightning comes through, and what a storm and what a show that was. And that brought out the red flag, and now the engines are fired. Actually, they've not fired the engine, all of the engines yet, but they're about to get ready to get them back out onto the racetrack. They have made the command, Phil?
I think they have fired the engines. It sounds like it. As you see our race summary right here after 150 of the 200 laps. Our leader, Johnny Benson, 6 leaders, 10 lead changes. Our average speed about 90 miles an hour.
So again, 5 cautions, 21 laps. This red flag has been just under 25 minutes now, 24.5 minutes and counting. As we're waiting to see the yellow flag displayed, so the trucks will roll back out onto the racetrack and we can get this back underway. This is, well, I'm guessing this is what Johnny Benson would like. He'd like to win this race at the scheduled distance.
I think he would take it at lap 150.
You think he would have taken it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a win is a win, and he's lost a lot of wins, I'm sure, in his career in the last 50 laps, and maybe he can steal one back here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. They're going to get back on this racetrack.
Again, Johnny Benson in front of the field. Matt Crafton being scored third is Rick Crawford. The problem is he sped off of pit road under this most recent caution, and so he will have to go back to the back of the long slide.
And just as we suspected, it was the very last segment on pit road where Rick Crawford was busted for speeding. NASCAR allows these guys a 5-mile-an-hour cushion, and obviously Rick went over that. We saw him look like he gave it just a little bit of gas pedal there, just to get by that 88 and take over that second spot, leaving pit road, and unfortunately that was the segment that got him busted.
Back behind him a couple trucks, that 99 of Eric Darnell, right?
Crew Chief Matt Pusha just came on the radio and he said to Eric, he said, think back to the days whenever you used to come up into Wisconsin and run late model races. When you would start, you'd get a fresh set of tires, a full tank of gas, and a 50-lap feature. He said that's what you've got ahead of you right now. Go out there and get them, Tiger.
And they're all rested. All these guys have been able to get out of the trucks, and Chrissy Wallace, I don't want to make it's all guys. Chrissy's got a nice run going. She's up in the top 20, running 18th right now, but they had a little break, got a little something to drink, and as Ray said, we got a 50-lapper.
50-lap feature. Coming up next, it's trackside. Marcos Ambrose, Sam Hornish Jr., Juan Pablo Montoya will be the guests on the show.
Great qualifying effort for Marcos Ambrose in his first ever Sprint Cup race, driving the Wood Brothers, number 21.
Start 7th, I believe. Yellow flag is being displayed by not only the flagman, but the fans here at Milwaukee Mile. We'll see the green when we come back.
Roger, night down for me, please.
All set here.
Being fast.
A great sign here from Wisconsin State Fair Park. It's the Camping World RV Sales 200 presented on speed by Toyota. About to get underway once again. We've completed 151 laps. And it will be a 48-47 lap shootout.
Ted Musgrave on pit road. Remember, he got a piece of that incident with Jack Sprague, that big battle coming off turn number 4, the big accident off of turn number 4. There's Brendan Gaughan, the number 10 on pit road. Ray, what's going on with Brendan?
Well, Phil, they put 4 fresh tires on it, but his big concern was the aero on the left front of his Max Force diesel Ford, and they're going to put some more tape on that thing, try to give him just a little bit more downforce up front. Jack Sprague going off pit road right behind him, so both of those guys trying to make their trucks just a little bit better here for our last run to the checker.
Good news for Brendan Gaughan. He is our Aaron's lucky dog, so he will be one of the 15 trucks on the lead lap. There's Rick Crawford. Bad news for Rick, and now he is going to restart this race at the tail end of the longest line. What a horrible break. Rick appeared to have the dominant truck before that caution flag came out for rain. Was busted for speeding, exiting pit road. There's Shelby Howard. Shelby's had another good run going. He's up on the lead lap right now, one of the 15 trucks on the lead lap.
Get a reminder immediately following this race, trackside from Infineon Raceway in the first road course race of the year for the Sprint Cup Series. Stars Marcos Ambrose, Sam Hornish Jr., and Juan Pablo Montoya will be making appearances on that show. You'll want to stay tuned for that.
You see the lights are off the safety truck.
That's not lightning. That's fireworks, folks.
We're getting ready to have some fireworks right here down on the racetrack.
Lights are off on the pace truck. Randy Kaiser, our pace truck driver, will make the hard left turn. He'll put that onto pit road. That'll put the field back in the hands of Johnny Benson. Matt Crafton running second. Landon Castle third. Eric Darnell fourth. Todd Bodine fifth. Out of turn 4, green flag will be back in the air, and we're back underway at the Milwaukee Mile.
Both Johnny Benson and Matt Craftsman clear the lap truck of Justin Marks. Landon Castle's going to try to make his way around the outside. Eric Darnell, the 99, runs fourth.
So difficult to pass at this racetrack when you've got a lot of traffic in front of you, and that's exactly what Rick Crawford is facing right now. What a strong truck he had early on, but now he's going to have to battle his way back from the 14th starting spot on this restart.
There's Rick right there. He's following the 13 is Shelby Howard. That is a battle right there for the 13th position. There's Jack Sprague. Heavy damage from that earlier incident, but still racing out here, racing that 13. Ooh.
A lot of damage there to the 21 of Kevin Wood.
Looks like he got into the back of the 40 of Paul Poulter coming off turn number 2. I don't think that will bring out a caution flag.
Paul needs to get off the racetrack. He's not up to speed right now. They have not thrown the caution flag, so we'll see if the 40 gets off the racetrack. It looks as though he's going to be able to. Oh, Chrissy Wallace into the 8 of Chad McCumbee. McCumbee spins around. Wallace slow on the racetrack, and that brings out our 6th caution of the night.
Every one of these cautions will be an advantage for Rick Crawford. That will allow him to get some track position. Obviously, Chad McCumbee not real happy with Chrissy Wallace.
Look at the damage to the back of that 8 of Chad McCumbee.
Remember, Chad was in the top 10 in points coming into this race. He was in the 7th position. Considerable damage to that truck.
Chad was 108 points back from our point leader Johnny Benson. Benson trying to add to his point lead tonight as he leads this field. Let's take another look at what happened.
Right before the, ooh, that was the 21 and the 40 getting together. Kevin Wood, the 21, and Paul Poulter, the 40.
Little debris on that racetrack, and then this is Chrissy Wallace way down on the bottom of the racetrack, but she comes up because she's so far down she can't keep the truck on the bottom of the track and comes up and gets into Chad McCumbee.
She had such a bad angle, and also she was down there, maybe picked up a little debris on her tires. You see Chrissy right there, the 0-3. That's Mike Skinner's on board. 3 wide situation, a little contact right there. That puts Chrissy down on the very bottom of the racetrack. When she got to the corner, she had a bad angle and possibly had some debris and slid up into that 8 truck of Chad McCumbee.
There you see the damage on the 21 of Kevin Wood.
Kevin's being shown right now in the 20th position. He will bring that U.S. Air Force 4 down pit road to the attention of John Monson and the crew.
Right behind him was the 59 of Ted Musgrave. Also looking for some attention on that race truck, Mike Bliss. Being shown as our lucky dog, so Mike Bliss grabbing a lap back. Gets the Aaron's lucky dog. Again in front, though, Johnny Benson, Matt Craftsman, Landon Castle, Eric Darnell, and Todd Bodine racing for the win. One to go before we see the green flag. A couple trucks coming on pit road. Probably to top off. Maybe make final adjustments before they go back out. Potentially another long green flag run. We've seen it here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. As we look back behind that certified Toyota used vehicles number 23 of Johnny Benson. This was the reason for the problem on our most recent caution. You see Chrissy Wallace on the inside, that 0-3, crowding that 5 of Mike Skinner, so she goes way to the inside of the racetrack, Phil.
Yeah, here comes Chad McCumbee, that 8 truck right there, and when Chrissy got to the corner, she couldn't quite make the corner, whether it be debris or just a bad angle, and made contact with Chad McCumbee. Chad's continued to sit on pit road for adjustments and repairs to that number 8 truck.
Amazingly enough, we talked about it was an overcast sky and thunder and lightning, but you can still see the moon. So clearing off just a bit here at the Milwaukee Mile and about ready to go back to green flag racing. 40 laps remain here as we are looking to make it to 200 laps. Johnny Benson looking to make it 3 in a row from the Milwaukee Mile. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
Justin Marks again, the truck on the inside. Johnny Benson clears him, as does Matt Crafton. Landon Castle, the third place truck, the 46, is hung up beside another lap truck. Looks like maybe the 71 of Donnie Leah. Landon clears him. Now he's going to try to clear the 9 of Justin Marks. Eric Darnell's down on the bottom of the racetrack, on the bottom of Donnie Leah, the 71.
Todd Bodine running in the top 5. Currently second in our points. Ron Hornaday third in the points coming in, running 6th on the racetrack.
There's Rick Crawford trying to battle his way back from that pit road penalty, trying to get around the 15 truck of Mark Mitchell. Right now Mark is running in the 12th spot. Gets hung up on the outside behind the damaged truck of David Starr, the 11. There's Jack Sprague. Remember, Jack's still on the lead lap.
Very close right there for Rick Crawford, almost getting into the back of that 11 of David Starr. Now ducking to the inside, trying to get behind Bliss.
Yeah, Mike Bliss able to get by. Remember, Mike Bliss got the Aaron's lucky dog, had to restart from the tail end of the longest line. Parlayed some. Ooh, Rick Crawford bounces off the inside wall.
We saw it looked like Brendan Gaughan have to lock the tires up there to avoid collision with his teammate.
There's Ted Musgrave right there. Ted's being shown 2 laps down right now. Heavy damage from that earlier incident coming off of turn 4 on lap number 99.
2 and 3 wide around the racetrack now. Musgrave trying to get by Brendan Gaughan in that 10.
You know, Brendan Gaughan right now is trying to fight back on the lead lap right now. He is the last truck right now on the lead lap. There's Rick Crawford, the 14, going to try to go to the outside of the 51 of Mike Bliss.
And right behind that 0-3 of Chrissy Wallace. She was the reason for the last caution on the racetrack. And so Crawford looking to clear her and move forward as he'll try to get by Jack Sprague just in front of him. Makes the pass, and so he's looking for Jack Sprague and the 15 of Mark Mitchell now. There's 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Johnny Benson in the 23, that red Toyota certified used vehicles Toyota Tundra, just in front of the 88 Menards Chevy Silverado.
Hey, Landon Castle has done a nice job in that GoDaddy.com Chevrolet. He's comfortably right now in the 3rd spot. There's a 22 Michael, and that what a great run he has going for his first ever Craftsman Truck Series start. He runs 7th right now. That's 60 right there. That's Terry Cook. He runs 8th. Terry got another nice run going here at the Milwaukee Mile.
71 of Donnie Leah is a lap down truck, actually 2 laps down to the field. 46 of Landon Castles, you just mentioned. A 3rd place run right now in that GoDaddy.com Chevy Silverado.
He's being shown right now about 2 seconds behind our leader, Johnny Benson. Johnny continues to lead. You see he has about 10 truck lengths right now over Matt Crafton, which computes to about 0.8 of a second. Eric Darnell continues to run in the 4th spot. There's a battle right there. That's the 13 Shelby Howard, 15 Mark Mitchell, 2 Jack Sprague. There's the 14 and the 51. That is a battle for position right now. Shelby Howard is running 11th. See Rick Crawford move to the inside of Jack Sprague to try to take over that 13th spot.
Looks as though he's going to be able to make the pass. Now he'll set his sights on the 15. Jack Sprague tries to move back up on the outside.
Can't even begin to tell you how frustrating this is for Rick Crawford. He knew that, you know, the race was his. He had the best truck on the racetrack. Caution flag came out. He made a pit stop, got busted for speeding on the very last segment of pit road. And now here he is fighting to try to get back into the top 10 as he moves to the inside of Mark Mitchell for the 12th position. But just a horrible, horrible break. Bad break for Rick Crawford.
Now trying to take away a position from Shelby Howard in that 13 is Mike Bliss continues to stay right in the tire tracks of that 14 of Rick Crawford. As Crawford goes by a truck, Mike Bliss follows right in his tire tracks. Battle for 4th. Todd Bodine trying to stay in front of Ron Hornaday. That'll be for 5th.
Yeah, the 99 of Eric Darnell has the 4th spot. Todd Bodine, Ron Hornaday battling hard for that 5th position. They know that that position is 5 points.
Another 5 points in their chase for another championship. Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday, both champions of this series. Hornaday, a 3-time champion. Todd Bodine has won it once. Adam Alexander, what's going on with that 23?
Yeah, he's been very quiet on the radio, very comfortable at this stage of the race with 30 laps to go. But we should point out the truck that was so good for him last week that finished second to Eric Darnell in that amazing finish at Michigan, the truck they had planned to bring here, and the reason why, that the machine that had won at Milwaukee the last 2 years, but they felt like the truck really had been overused, so they decided to change game plans and bring the truck that's leading tonight here. That's the same vehicle that won at St. Louis last fall. So a tough call for Trip Bruce, but one that has paid off, and it could bring the dividend of win number 1 in 2008 for Johnny Benson.
And Adam, I remember back to the first long green flag run. It was Johnny Benson who looked so dominant out in front, but toward the latter part of that run, it was the 88 that looked extremely strong and was able to reel in that 23 of Johnny Benson. So we've got to keep our eye on that 88 because he thinks his truck is going to be coming to him on the long runs. How about that 30, Ray?
You know, Rick, this is the time of the year where we start wondering, believe it or not, what people are going to be doing next year. I know that sounds silly when we're only in June, but the way sponsorship packages go, it's the time you start talking about it. So I asked Todd Bodine today if he knows what he's doing next year. He said, not exactly, but I'd really like to be full-time in the Nationwide Series, and they've got a couple sponsorship deals that are very, very close to coming true. If they do, the question is who will drive the 30? Well, the talk right now is that Paul Tracy may come Craftsman Truck Series racing full-time next year, and if he does it, it very well may be right there in that same truck in number 30 for Germain Racing. We already know that Chrissy Wallace will be full-time next year running for Rookie of the Year driving for Germain Racing.
And Chrissy Wallace in the 0-3 tonight, making her just 2nd career series start. Shelby Howard on the outside, Mike Bliss on the inside. This is a battle for position.
It's a battle for the 12th spot. Rick Crawford has made his way back up into the top 10. He right now runs in the 10th spot. Mike Bliss on the bottom of the racetrack trying to get by that 13 truck. Shelby Howard has had a good run this entire night, been in the top 15 from the drop of the green flag.
Battle for 12th continuing.
See the brake rotors glowing red hot on that 51 Miccosukee Toyota for Mike Bliss. Mike gets a little bit loose down on the bottom. There's a 3 wide situation. Dennis Setzer, the 18 on the inside of the 09. John West Townley. Dennis is running in the 11th spot. John West right now is being shown 2 laps down in the 19th position.
Rick Crawford got by this group and checked out on them. Is caught up to the 9th place truck. Mike Skinner. For Crawford moving forward. Mike Skinner again with the damage to his truck. He was involved also in an incident earlier this evening.
It's amazing that Mike Skinner had quite a bit of damage and he's still been able to maintain a top 10 position with his Toyota. Mike Bliss and Shelby Howard continue to battle for that 12th position.
Shelby Howard that's just in front of that 51 of Mike Bliss. And just in front of them, the 18 of Dennis Setzer, right?
And Rick, this has been a very good racetrack for Dennis Setzer. In 4 of his last 5 races here, he finished 7th or better. Tonight running 11th, but the problem is the brake pedal has gone soft for Dennis Setzer right now. So he is saying no brakes through the center of the corner. He's happy with an 11th place.
And the restart after the red flag, Ray, it was Rick Crawford who rolled 15th after that speeding penalty on the pit lane, but he's been able to make up some ground. Rick and Phil documented a moment ago. He has worked his way into the top 10, and while Rick has remained quiet on the radio, his crew chief and spotter have not. Each lap that passes, Cowboy Kevin Starlin has read off his lap times, telling him he is faster than the guys in front of him, and up top, Kelvin Humphreys The spotter is telling him to keep digging. He's got a lot to gain. So 22 laps to go, and Rick Crawford trying to salvage a better finish in what could have been a winning night for the 14.
You saw the gap right there for just a moment. Mike Skinner, the 5 truck, is the next truck in front of him. Terry Cook, the 60, was right in front of Mike Skinner, but right now Rick Crawford is about 2.5 seconds, a little bit over 2 seconds behind that 5 truck of Mike Skinner. Right now, Johnny Benson has a good almost 2-second lead over the second place truck of Matt Crafton. You can see right now Johnny obviously has clinched the lap leading bonus for who leads the most laps.
So he gets another 5 bonus points for that. There's the differential between race leader Johnny Benson and the 88 of Matt Crafton. Crafton trying to get by the slower lap traffic.
That's
They're
Brent
moving
Raymer,
to the outside for him.
David Starr, the 11 truck, with so much damage from that earlier incident. There's a 07 of Sean Murphy, the black and green truck.
Matt Crafton's going to have to catch up and quick, as we have just 19 laps of racing remaining. Landon Castle still runs third, Eric Darnell fourth, and then Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday continuing to fight over that 5th spot.
There's a 22 of Mike Lynette, just briefly getting into that picture frame. He's actually been able to gain a little bit on this group that's battling for 5th right now with Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday. See Michael Lynette right there, the yellow and red Toyota.
Hornaday pushing it just a bit harder now as he's trying to get more spots on the racetrack. The first one he's got to take away is going to have to be from Todd Bodine, and that's a difficult task to take on as we see Jack Sprague get by Martin Mitchell.
Jack takes over the 14th spot from Mark Mitchell. I'll tell you, what a job by Jack and Ernie Cope and those guys to fight back from that heavy damage, stay on the lead lap, and that actually race trucks for position. That 13 truck right there is a battle for position with Jack Sprague. That's a battle for the 13th position.
Shelby Howard, Jack Sprague continuing their battle on the racetrack. Ray Dunlap.
What a great run for Michael Annette tonight in his career first start here in the Craftsman Truck Series, running in 7th position. I think that would be like a moral victory for this young driver, as such a tough racetrack to come to your first race here at Milwaukee. But how about Doug Wolcott, the crew chief for this team? Since the beginning of last season, Michael Annette is now his 7th different driver that Doug Wolcott has had to work with, and there's been an interesting mix of people through his number 22. Some really good young talent, and Wolcott very happy with the way things have been going. He's got Michael Annette for the next 5 races, so they're hoping to learn a little bit.
Very close call for Ron Hornaday. Look at him try to catch that truck.
He and Todd Bodine was side by side over in turn number 1. They made contact. Ron loses 2 or 3 positions right there. Terry Cook also got by. There's Mike Skinner. He's not quite able to get to Hornaday yet, but close call for Ron Hornaday and Todd Bodine.
Very close call. Let's take another look. Right side of your screen.
Ron down on the bottom of the racetrack. Todd was going to diamond that corner. He came back down. Ron had stuck his nose up in there and made contact. Ron does all he can do to save that truck. Great save by Ron Hornaday.
Losing a couple spots on the racetrack. And look at this. Rick Crawford is caught up to Mike Skinner. Remember, there was about a 2-second difference between the 2 of those trucks, and Crawford already trying to move to the inside of Mike Skinner.
Rick is going to take over the 9th position. Attempt to take over the 9th position anyway, but Rick will be able to do that, able to drive that truck way down into turn number 1. Rick will take over the 9th spot, but it's going to be a little bit too little and a little bit too late for Rick Crawford, unfortunately.
He would have to have a caution come out now to give him a chance at a win at this racetrack. Once we restart inside of 10 laps, it's a single file restart with the lead lap trucks in front, and they would all line up behind that 23 of Johnny Benson. There's the difference between Benson and Matt Crafton. That's 1 and 2 on the racetrack. And again, we can't say enough about Landon Castle and the performance he's putting on right now running third.
He has really done a nice job. So little of experience. He's 18 years old. Got a top 10 finish at Charlotte earlier in this truck right here. There's the GoDaddy.com Chevrolet. Truck's
Ninth
clean.
is the best he's ever run, and that was at Charlotte, just as you mentioned.
Now, we had a little bit of attrition. We had that incident, but Landon Castle has run a great race here, and he had this third spot on the restart and has been able to maintain and actually drive away from Eric Darnell. He's about 3 seconds ahead of Eric Darnell right now in the third spot.
This time by, it'll be 10 laps of racing to go from the Milwaukee Mile. Again, this race slowed a few times for caution, 6 times on the 5th caution. It was slowed because of rain, and then lightning red flagged the race to slow the pace down, but it has heated up now that we've gone back to green.
Heavy traffic for Johnny Benson. Kevin Wood, the 21 truck, moves over to the inside, but you see there's a number of trucks right there running together. There's a 03 of Chrissy Wallace, the 59 of Ted Musgrave, right immediately in front of our leader, Johnny Benson.
Johnny Benson looks to the inside. He'll see if they'll move out to the outside for him as Chrissy Wallace moves out for him. Johnny Benson's going to come up on that 59 of Ted Musgrave now.
See these trucks side by side right in front of Ted Musgrave.
Looking back at our race leader, Johnny Benson, from the Team ASE Toyota Tundra of Ted Musgrave. Benson trying to make that pass now as we ride along with Ted. Ted not giving him any room, racing him, but he moves out to the outside.
See these trucks side by side right in front of Johnny Benson.
Donnie Leah and the 15 of Mark Mitchell just in front of our race leader.
They are single file now. Johnny able to make his way by in the bottom. Donnie Leah gives him plenty of room. Remember, the 88 of Matt Craftsman will have to go through these lap trucks as well.
Going to have to fight their way if they want a chance at a win at Milwaukee. Again, Johnny Benson, your point leader, coming in, looking to increase that point lead.
That's the 15th place truck right there, the 15 of Mark Mitchell. He's done a nice job. He's trying to stay on the lead lap right now. There's Matt Craftsman now hung up behind the 03 of Chrissy Wallace. A little bit of contact right there.
Contact there for Chrissy Wallace as she tries to catch that truck. Crafton trying to get by. He'll look to the inside now as we ride along with Ted.
Matt able to get by Chrissy. Ted trying to get by the 71 of Donnie Leah. 6 laps to go.
Winding down the final lap. 6 miles remain from the Milwaukee Mile. Johnny Benson looking to become just the 4th driver to win at least 3 consecutive races at one racetrack.
And as Adam said, this is not the same truck that he had for the other 2 wins. I don't think it has anything to do with the truck. It's more the team and Johnny Benson.
2 trucks in front of Johnny now, and then it'd be a clean racetrack if he can get by TJ Bell in the 7 and John West Townley in that 09. 5 laps of racing. When they come out of turn 4, he crosses the start finish line. 4 miles, 4 laps for Johnny Benson.
Johnny has about a 2-second lead. He doesn't want to take any chances with these lap trucks. There's a battle right there. The 60 of Terry Cook, the 14 of Rick Crawford. That's a battle for the 8th position. Rick Crawford gets hung up behind the 8 of Chad McCumbee.
That will slow the momentum down. We'll see if he's still able to continue on. Right on the back bumper of Terry Cook. Rick Crawford hungry here in Milwaukee.
It's a case of what might have been for Rick Crawford. Unfortunately, what a great run, what a great truck he and Cowboy have had. See Rick right up underneath the tailgate of that 60 truck of Terry Cook.
Now moves to the outside. He's going to take a peek. We'll see if he ducks back on the bottom of the racetrack. He's not going to be able to get the nose down there before he gets to turn 1.
Rick's going to jump to the outside. 3 laps to go in this race for our leader, Johnny Benson. Rick's going to make the move on the outside.
A pass for the 8th position on the racetrack. Rick Crawford gets by that 60 of Terry Cook. Our race leader has gone by the start-finish line. 2 laps of racing to go for Johnny Benson.
Johnny has just about a complete straightaway in front of him of clean racetrack here, coming down for 1 to go. Matt Craftsman still has about 3 lap trucks between he and the 23 of Johnny Benson, our leader.
Riding along with Benson as the white flag goes in the air. 1 mile to go for Johnny Benson. His 111th start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, looking for his 10th career victory.
And 3 in a row here at Milwaukee. Half a lap to go.
The difference between he and second place Matt Craftsman, almost a straightaway. Johnny Benson on the pole to start this race. Coming out of turn number 4, it will be career win number 10. Johnny Benson, 3 in a row from Milwaukee.
Good job. Great job, everybody. Team effort today. Number 3, looking for work.
Great runs by Matt Craftsman and Landon Castle. Eric Grinnell follows up his win with a top 5. Todd Bodine gets a top 5. And Michael, in that first ever Craftsman Truck Series start, and there's one happy crew chief right there, Trip Bruce. And Adam, you've got him.
Well, you don't win 3 races in a row unless you're a good driver at this track, but the bottom line is the pit crew was a big help tonight, Trip.
Yeah, they did it. They put us out in first with 50 to go, and Johnny took it from there. Can't say enough about them. We practice every day that we're in the shop. We practice religiously. They do 3 stops. They do them under 14 seconds since January. They never make mistakes.
What about the momentum of this race team right now?
Oh man, we are on a roll. I mean, there's no denying that. We're clicking real good. All the guys, we've got the same group of guys. We've got a couple new tire changes this winter and put it with our program from last year. And man, everything's just going well. We have a good time together. We like to keep it that way.